Hey, what's up, you guys? Ew! Oh, ew, ew. Oh, ew, what is all that? Oh. Basketball Jones! I got a basketball Jones!
Kill it! Okay, here we go. Woo. The bomb! What the bomb?
Fantastic.
Blew his toe off.
Call him Bob.
Taking that toe.
Get out of my fucking game! Whose house? Mira's house. Bitch, I run this city. But only consensually. Girl, you know I'm gonna ask for permission.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of FewTrueGamers podcast. My name is Jacob BestintheRealm Potter. I don't know my own last name. God damn it. And I'm joined as always by Trollbeard.
Well, howdy there, Mr. Potter.
God. It happens to me all the time, too, when I say my last name. People are like, Potter? No! No!
Think of the tall guy that was Jason in most of the bad Friday the 13th movies.
Oh, yeah. What's his first name?
Kane.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But his last name is spelled like
right.
2 D's.
Hodder.
Yeah, cool dude. I met him twice randomly at different events.
Right. I met some interesting people. I only really went to MegaCon once. Met the Crypt Keeper, Space Ghost. What's his name? Jordy LaForge was a jerk to me.
Well, yeah, LeVar Burton. He's got those issues of he's gotten way better now from all my understandings, but there was a short period of time there where he was not the happiest about doing that.
Yeah, no, he was a jerk because I didn't have anything to sign, and I was very poor. I was like,
yeah,
my stepmom's a huge fan of yours. Can you sign? Is there anything you can sign? And he was like, no, get out of my line. Like, all right.
Yeah, he's kind of calmed his tits from what I've understood from a few people I know. But yeah, he was just unhappy with doing the entire convention thing for a while.
I would imagine his fan base is a little strange.
Yeah.
Well,
at least he's not Virgil.
That's fair. That is fair.
just lonely, sitting out there.
I love the random wrestling references you make. Because I'm just like, Virgil, does he mean? Out of nowhere.
Yeah, like, you know what's crazy? Like, I think we've mentioned it before. Of like, I used to listen to XM radio for like a decade before, like, Sirius XM merged. Sirius basically bought XM and they fucked it all up. But that's where I had known Sam Roberts from.
Yeah, I love Jim and Sam.
Yeah, his work on the Opie and Anthony show way back when. But he always would come in, because I had a pretty limited, like, year spectrum knowledge of wrestling. I kind of cut out in the early 2000s. Probably even by then I was just playing a lot of the video games. But he had two bits that always made me laugh, where they had the death counter, where they never went more than 100 days for literally a decade before somebody in wrestling passed away.
Oh god, that's a terrible bit.
Well, it was just like, their whole point was like just how terrible like that industry was for people's health. What? And how, you know, being independent contractors and no health insurance, they would always talk shit about Vince McMahon, like, we're doing what we can for everybody. It's like, yeah, how about you help these people, you fuck?
He does. I just listened to a 3-hour-long podcast about William Regal that was absolutely fascinating. And they kept him for a long time just to help him.
The other thing that came around was Lonely Virgil.
Yeah. That poor guy.
Where like Sam would just come in and talk about like all these different events he'd go to. Virgil would just show up, like he wasn't invited. He'd set up like a table outside of some of these events and have like a sign where he was clearly lying, so like Ted DiBiase would be there and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of the people are like, "Why doesn't Ted help him? He's $1 million man." That's a gimmick. It's a gimmick.
Yeah,
it's, like,
it's all a scheme. Ric Flair wasn't wearing $5,000 shoes.
Well, actually, he may have been. Yeah, this is a gaming podcast, so that's our gimmick. And we're gonna try and keep this one a bit more constrained. You probably haven't guessed that yet, but we are.
Yeah, I had to get the tangent out early.
So let's do our weekly update. And I've been playing a pretty good amount of Destiny. I like that I can just kind of jump in, like the end game now. I can just kind of jump in and do stuff. Feel like I'm making some good progress. They also made it the Masterwork system, which took forever because it was kind of random how you got that currency to upgrade the weapons. Now there's a guaranteed way of doing it, and it's really nice. Some people still don't like it. I think it's great because there's guaranteed ways of getting it now. So I don't know what the complaint is, but I got my God Roll Bygones. It was a really, really nasty burst rifle. And I completed my Masterwork Iron Banner armor. All of it's Masterwork now. Before, they made it easy to get to. And I got the Thunderlord. And that motherfucker is fun. Holy shit. Yeah, I gotta bring up a video of that.
It's an LMG that shoots lightning, right?
Yeah, basically. That's essentially what it is.
Lives up to his name.
So, yeah, the perk, when you kill something, it does a lightning AoE. And when you get a kill, it gives you a temporary perk called Feeding Frenzy, which lets you reload faster. It's only a little bit faster, but it's still nice. The main thing is that it has about 68 rounds, I think, and something like that. And it's just extremely powerful. It eats through trash mobs like you're seeing. It also eats bosses. It's crazy. It's crazy powerful. I was going to say right now, if anyone listening has said anything about nerfing it, go fuck yourself. Just fuck off. Let us have nice things. I don't think they are. The Bungie has made no indications that they want to nerf it. It's fantastic in PvE. It's fantastic in PvP. It's ridiculous. It's overpowered. It's how Destiny weapons should be. None of this fucking Huckleberry bullshit. I hate that weapon so much. It's so boring. It's like more recoil, more power. Okay, what else? That's it. Okay. Why are you an exotic? So yeah, hopefully less of that, and Black Armory comes out soon. The end of the season is 8 days away on the 27th. I still don't have the annual pass. I gotta get that. So excited for Black Armory. I'm sure he's gonna bring all kinds of cool shit. Yeah, see, now he's taking down a boss. And it's just eating it. And I play Hunter, so I have the dodge reload things. Oh yeah, I wipe things out with this. And it was not hard to get. It was kill a bunch of bosses on the EDZ or turn in a bunch of engrams. Do some jeez, I can never remember the name of these things. Lost sectors that are on EDZ that are easy as well. And then we have to go back to the Cosmodrome. You got to go to the area from the very beginning of Destiny 1 where your ghost finds you. So that was really, really cool. They talked about, I don't know if this is like common knowledge, but they talked about the Cosmodrome is quarantined. And I don't know, it has to be because of Siva from Destiny 1. It's so fucking weird the way they're like, not everything from Destiny 2 actually happened, and blah blah blah, and the ghost, some people don't recognize your Guardian, even though it's the same Guardian from Destiny 1, and your Guardian doesn't remember things, but also the things did happen. So, I don't know. Destiny's lore is real fucking confusing. I wish they would really straighten that out, like, oh, the darkness isn't real, but there's the darkness.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, just please get your shit together, Destiny. I love you. I'm glad I love Destiny again. I am having a blast with it. The Bygones rifle I got, you had to get to rank 12 in the new Gambit mode, which took quite a while. I got lucky though, because it was going to take me at least a few more hours, but I got lucky and got a bunch of randos that were really good, and got a streak and got it pretty quickly. And it has the perk of full auto and kill clip, so you get an extra 50% damage boost whenever you reload after killing something. And it's pretty nasty. Perk you can upgrade to stability, so it listens to recoil. So yeah, it's a god roll.
Pile of OP.
It really is, and that's why it takes so fucking long to get to. It's a guaranteed roll if you get it that way. I didn't get it just by getting random rolls. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with what I've done this season, which I don't think I've ever done in a MMO type game ever. Like, I feel like I'm done. Like, I'm accomplished with this season, and the next season's rolling around now. So we're good. I'm not level 600. I'm like 560 something, so I'm pretty close to 600. So, what's going on in the world of Fortnite?
Well, it's been slowly plodding along. They had the crazy cube event not too long ago. They recently rolled out this really cool mode called Food Fight, which is the map is split in half with a giant barrier blocking everything. And there's a big timer that's counting down 5 minutes from where you drop. And there's two statues that are pretty close to each other on each side of the wall. One's the giant tomato head, one's the giant Durr Burger. So you've got time to go get mats, resources, ammo, guns, and you go and you build and you block off and you're defending your restaurant. Everybody in your team is wearing a helmet that's either the giant dumb cheeseburger, the Durr Burger, or the smiling tomato head guy. So it's immediately visible who's on what team. And it's really neat, but the same update that brought the food fight also brought a turret, which is a giant point of contention, fairly, in the community, because they've already kind of nerfed it twice in 1 week. Because a new update comes out tomorrow morning, tomorrow or Wednesday morning, very soon.
Right.
And so like when the first drop, the turret is a gold rarity, so it should be the hardest thing to find.
Is it something you have to build?
You have to put it down on a pre-existing floor you are allowed to build on.
Okay.
And so yeah, you have to get into it as well. It's not an automated turret. You jump in and it's knock them out the box loot. You're just spinning that turret around, shooting everything.
Yeah. This looks pretty cool.
Like the mode is super fun, and they've been having a lot of really cool, fun moments with a lot of their limited time modes lately. But the big issue is they had a faster rotation of different styles of modes.
Yeah.
But they've been kind of like sticking to a group lately, and then rolling out a really new, unique one every so often. This is the first real new one in a while, because they had done soaring 50s for the longest time, which is 50 versus 50, where
Right.
you can redeploy your glider. They also had where you could just redeploy your glider active for about a week in all the modes, and that just kind of ruined the whole flow of the game. Like it made the games faster, but it also meant it was like severely de-emphasizing the need to build.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Because if like, oh hey, the primary thing you can do is either build to defend yourself, build to push up higher. Oh, somebody's over here shooting me. I'm just gonna jump off and glide away. Like I can just run away, zero consequences, pretty much at all times. So it really messed up the pace. And they've since rolled back the glider redeploy. It's only in the limited time modes for right now. But that combined with the turret, like I said, is gold rarity, but it was spawning everywhere. Like people were regularly ending the game with like 2 or 3 in their inventory. And when it started, it had like 5,000 HP, which you can't do any real damage directly to the turret. You have to shoot the floor that it's on.
Okay.
The turret has this little like window, the reticle you can aim through. Like you don't use it, but it's there on the model of the gun.
Oh, I see.
So even if you saw somebody at a distance and you sniped them in the face, it would hit that little box. So it was almost impossible to shoot anybody from the front on the turret. You had to push and get around somebody that has insane building destructive capabilities with this turret.
How much
that
ammo does it have?
It doesn't run out of ammo, it just overheats.
Oh my god. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm watching this guy just wreck the burger.
Yeah. But yeah, it was crazy. So shortly thereafter, the same day, they cut down the spawn.
Right.
The spawn rate on it. And then they also cut down the HP from 5,000 to 1,000 and adjusted something else. But it's still kind of stupid.
Yeah,
like it's not as hard now, because if you have any kind of like explosive weaponry, all you had to do is throw a grenade in that direction, usually break most of the building. The turret was attached to, and the turret would go away. But it was just such a devastating thing to where if you weren't playing smart, it went bad fast.
So this is in regular Battle Royale?
In all the regular modes, yeah. And now that you don't have the glider redeploy, it made the escaping the turrets trickier.
Yeah.
Because the crazy thing is, you could just go out there and with the spawning of the turrets, put out 2 or 3 floor pieces and put out 2 or 3 turrets, and as soon as one overheated, you just jump out, jump in the other. It got really stupid.
So could you kill somebody from the turret and then break the floor and then take the turret?
Yeah, like it's as soon as you place it, it's free to the public. Whoever jumps in it.
Yeah, because he just wrecked that guy by coming up behind him and could have taken his turret.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that could get overpowered pretty quickly.
So yeah, they've already had to rework it, and a lot of people were just annoyed. Like, well, basically, it's all the people that want to take this game seriously that were annoyed.
I can see that being annoying, but not. It's like, well, I mean, that's the thing with this game is Epic's like, does this work?
Yeah, like, part of the beauty of why Fortnite is so interesting.
Trust me, you guys don't want fucking PUBG. Nothing's happened. Yeah.
The crazy thing is, like, part of the magic of Fortnite is that they try shit.
Yeah. I would fucking kill for a Bluehole to do weird shit like this.
They started to with that war mode and other thing, but then that
Fortnite
was about as far as they went. Yeah, basically Blitz mode.
Yeah, Fortnite did something and PUBG was like, oh, we better compete. And then after that, they're like, nah. I don't know.
Did you see PUBG stated officially their fixed PUBG campaign was over.
What?
Yeah, they had made this whole thing like a year ago called Fixed PUBG, and then the other day, the CEO of Bluehole was like, "All right, blah blah blah. This campaign's over. Here's our kind of ideas for our focus for 2019."
Oh my god, they did.
And I was like, "But it's not fixed." But it's not fixed, guys. What do you mean the campaign's over? Like,
okay, well, your cancer hasn't gone away, but we're gonna go ahead and stop treatments. Wait, no. Wait, what?
but yeah, anyway.
We're gonna talk about PUBG a little bit later, so it's fine.
Yeah.
God.
With Fortnite, they've already, they've got, the news tab that shows you, upcoming things every now and then. So yesterday, a little news tab popped up, and it's a wacky stick of dynamite is going to be added to the game soon. It's like a big bundle of dynamite. And people were just like, oh, great, more explosives, 'cause that's what this game needs.
What happened? They were regularly adding, not regularly, but fairly regularly adding weapons, giving us new maps. I don't know, maybe it's because I don't really play on PC anymore, because my PC doesn't run it well. And, oh my god, Xbox.
Yeah, and hey, guess what happens, in a week or two, or middle of December, is PUBG on PS4.
Oh god.
And if it's anything like the Xbox version, oof.
I feel like PUBG is at the point where it's it's a cook who had a good dish at one point and it's just soured. And he's like, but it was good at one point. Here, don't you want it? No, I mean, yeah, yes, but no, not like that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, why are you buying the dollar store ingredients for this? Give me that good shit again, man.
And he's like, look at that one over there. That one's called Fortnite. It's weird. You don't like it, right? It's like, yeah, I don't. Then eat this. But no, yours is shit.
No,
theirs is weird, but yours is shit.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting when the next update drops for Fortnite to check and see exactly how the dynamite works. Because the crazy thing is I've seen a lot of guys that are quote-unquote pro. Some of them are actively competing all the time. Some of them are just highly skilled players that play for an organization.
Yeah.
But they're more just content creators and not necessarily competitors.
Right.
And it was crazy. There's a guy, High Distortion. He's an older guy like myself. He's in his 30s now. He was a Gears of War pro.
Okay.
Back in the day on console. So he played a lot of tournaments in Gears of War 2 and 3, and maybe even a little bit of 4. I don't know exactly when he called it quits. But, so he's had a long-term, competitive streak, and he's an insanely skilled player on Fortnite. He's one of those few guys that you still regularly see go in these days as a solo in a squad game, and he just destroys people still. But he was talking about the idea that you look at these items and it's he could tell immediately without even touching them either it was going to be terrible or it was going to be OP and they were going to have to fix it. And pretty much his record of looking at these items and seeing his reaction and seeing the community reaction has been spot on every time. It's they added this cool 6-shooter revolver. It's terrible, but I love it because it's terrible.
Right.
Nobody wants it. They added the P90 back in the day. That thing was a laser beam of death. The P90, the first week the P90 was in Fortnite, was actual cancer. It was just this death ray that had 50 bullets that hit you so hard. And then you would just see squads, they would all find a P90. And he's like, hey, I'm just going to build. Then you hear 2 or 3, just laser beams destroy every hope you had of getting out of that game alive. it was the stuff of nightmares.
But
Like
see,
you just
I would
hear that.
still take that over nothing.
But yeah, so like I said, they've changed. They've added new things. They've fixed. They've been very good at keeping a lot more things, reasonable. But the problem is they're starting at a point of adding more things and not taking away other things.
Yeah.
Where the more they add,
well, it seems to only take away things if they're like broken.
Well, they take things away if they're broken or they're kind of pointless.
Yeah, or they're just done with it, like the cube, like it played its part, like, yeah. But I feel like at this point, PUBG needs like a Forsaken level, like patch or just content to get me back into it, and I just don't see that happening. Like, I'm way more willing to spend $60 on Call of Duty and play Blackout than I am not spending any money in playing PUBG.
Yeah.
Because Blackout looks like fun.
Yeah, that's the other game I've been playing for the most part outside of Red Dead Redemption. But yeah, Blackout is starting to hit an issue as well. We'll go ahead and transition over to Blackout. Because Fortnite is still the ever-evolving, weird, like, butterfly flying around in space now.
I mean, Call of Duty could do what Fortnite's doing with constant updates and stuff, but I just don't think that audience would be into that.
Well, also, if they started really putting time and effort into updates for Blackout, it sets the expectation that Blackout's going to live longer than the cycle of Black Ops 4, which it most likely won't. And, next year there's probably going to be a Blackout 2 or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame.
Or whatever the Infinity Ward version, I think. Infinity Ward's up next. Because, World War II, Sledgehammer, Treyarch, Infinity Ward. Anyway, so the weird thing about Blackout is they would benefit more from adding new maps than they would try to do the ever-evolving single map that Fortnite does. Because it's still, like, a psychotic thing. When the Cube event happened, where everybody floated up and they saw the weird butterfly that came to them. Like, when that happened in Fortnite, when you exited out of that weird kind of transition cutscene, the entire map changed.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, live in the middle of a game across all their servers, across the entire world, they flipped a switch mid cutscene of people seeing this weird ghost butterfly to having a new map. Like that shit's just insane.
Can you imagine not being up to date on this stuff, playing it that morning or before it happened, getting home from work, turning the game and being like,
Yeah, like, you're like, oh, hey, there was the whole middle of Loot Lake had a house that was floating in the air. Cool. And all of a sudden, you didn't have to even go near the cube for that event. You just got lifted in the air and teleported. So all of a sudden, the game makes it out, and you're gliding, you're flying. You're like, what the hell? I'm falling again, like a new match started. And wait, there's just like this weird like stone hinge out in the middle of where Loot Lake used to be, and crazy shit.
Yeah, even worse, just not being up to date with all this stuff and playing while it's happening.
Yeah.
My game's bugging. What's going on?
What the hell, man? I see everybody, and I can free swim around in the middle of the air. It's all white, weird. What's going on?
He'd be the guy telling his friends, like, guys, I don't know how I did it, but I bugged out the game, and I did this crazy thing. I'm a hacker now.
But yeah, the thing with Blackout, it's one of those games where it's already starting kind of fall back down. Like, it's the weird thing is, like, the multiplayer is healthier than it's probably ever been in a long time in Call of Duty. It's like the numbers of players still on the multiplayer are great. It's just, the whole Blackout routine is getting stale for the people that are playing it too long, because there isn't that hook to come back.
Yeah.
Like, the people who kind of got adjusted to playing Fortnite, that have these things to look forward to, you don't really have that in Call of Duty. and it's just, hey, jump in, play the game, there's your round, do it again. There are these weird, obtuse-ass character unlock missions you can do.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, I've done one or two of them, but the problem with most of the challenges are they rely both on skill and random chance.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
Yeah, so like the one of them that's most reasonable, but it's also like some of the most steps is to unlock Seraph, the character I want. You gotta go. You don't have to do it at the start of the game. You can do it at any point in time. But it's easier to do it probably like halfway through the game instead of right off the bat. But again, that depends on where the circle goes.
Yeah. Because
the firing range is in the dead center of the map, and if the first circle pushes, past it, well, you better, hopefully not run into somebody and die in a fight on your way to firing range to do this challenge, to get the thing, to then go fight some more. Like, so you got to have a pistol. So you got to find a pistol and carry it with you over to firing range or land at firing range, and there's usually one of the 3 pistol types there you can find pretty regularly. There's a shooting range in the backside that has these 5 targets. You take the pistol back there, you shoot the targets, you see each one spin like when you shoot it, like one of these little targets should. And then there's a box in the room, right behind you. You go look in the box and you can trade your pistol for the Annihilator, which is like this big crazy, like, think of the golden gun in Destiny.
Right.
That's kind of what Seraph's character is like her super is basically the golden gun from the Hunter in Destiny.
Nice.
And it's got 6 bullets, and it does crazy damage. Look, there's a guy in the game. I got the furthest with doing this challenge. I still haven't completed it because I haven't played enough to sit down and dedicate the time to actually really try to do it. So I get it. A team rolls in right after, my friend and I have got this stuff, and it's got 6 bullets. You can't reload it. Can't find any more ammo for it. You got to get 2 kills, or no, you have 1 or 2 kills, I forget. So these guys come in. First guy peeks over, shoot him once, down. Next guy comes over. He's got a big chunk of armor. Shoot him once, break his armor, shoot him again, down. So this gun does insane damage.
Yeah.
But you only get 6 bullets. So I kill these 2 guys. We kill the other 2 people on the team because my friend and I are stupid. We're doing the thing we used to do all the time at Fortnite. We're playing duos and squads, keeping a strong disadvantage at all times because we're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the challenge now is I have to carry this gun all the way to the end of the game. I can't get rid of it. So now I just essentially have 1 weapon slot.
Okay.
That's gonna run out of bullets pretty quick. Because I've already fired 3 shots at this point. I've only got 3 more bullets and we're halfway through the game. And now depending on which game mode you're playing, on solo, duo, quads, it tells you what top placement in the game you have to be in.
Do you have to do all 3 of these in 1 match?
Yeah, this is all one and done. It's all 1 run. So yeah, so we got to 9th place, and in squads, because we're fucking idiots, you had to be in top 4.
Oh,
so now
it says top 5 in the video I have up.
But they're playing duos. They're not playing squads.
I see. Okay.
I think it's like a top 10 on solos. Like it's easiest to do it in solos, I want to say. But anyway,
and not really, because you probably have more people going for the gun.
Well, that's if anybody's gonna actually try to beat it, because anybody can get the gun.
Yeah. That
round. It's just.
Can only 1 person in a match get it?
No.
Okay.
Because you can find multiples of the same of the other objects in the game. It's just, tricky.
Yeah.
So, like, some of the other ones are there's a locket you find. It's like you gotta get a shotgun kill and a melee kill. It's like, that shit sucks. Because by the time you might find the locket, it's late game. And right now, the current shotgun meta in Blackout is not the healthiest. So then you're at a strong disadvantage trying to push in close enough.
So what is the point of unlocking Seraph? Is it just a character model?
It's just another character model.
Huh.
None of these characters do anything. And the crazy thing is, with the black market, which is essentially like this 200 tier system of loot for that season, that as you play you unlock new tiers.
Yeah.
They kind of give you, certain things are guaranteed rewards, certain things are what they call reserves, which are like loot crates that have like a random item that's a different like skin, things like that. But the trick is with a lot of those skins is like, hey, if you only play Blackout, you can't use that skin you just unlocked unless you go do one of these quests to unlock that character model, because these are all very specific to the individual models, and none of these are really universal.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's like the whole system there. Like, I kind of like I appreciate the routine of like these quests to unlock these characters. It's just some of them are really fucking stupid. Some of them are super easy. Of like, hey, just find this thing and live to this point in the game. Like, cool. Not this whole weird, you know, like I mentioned to you, these almost Destiny like jumping puzzles of like step after step, layer after layer of weird shit. Like, there's one where you've got to find like the dog tags for the character that has the dog in the multiplayer, and then you've got to deploy 2 barbed wires and 1 barricade, then live to a certain point in the game. So now you've got to find those items after the fact. You can't find these things and use them as you find them.
Yeah.
And it count once you find the dog tags. No. You've got to hold onto these fucking things if you find them, if you're going to try to do this, and hope that, you know, the random chance of finding this thing is the one you find. It's like it's this weird mix of RNG and skill that's very unrewarding.
And some of these things, to me, they sound fine, but then you put them in the confines of a match, and then it gets stressful.
Yeah, like it's super pain in the ass of like, oh hey, this one I have to get a close quarters kill, but that doesn't count if I melee him. I've got to shoot him with my gun within a certain range, and I don't know necessarily what that certain range is, because it's just like a vague description.
And see, that's when I come up behind the guy and just put a barrel in the back of his head.
Yeah, like you sneak in, and like the first time I found that one, which I still haven't finished the challenge, like I run into a guy at the like one of the last circles, and I run up behind him with my SMG and I start spraying him until I know his armor's broken and he's turning and trying to fight me. And then I try to melee him, but like the melee frames are so ass. Like, we both sat there point blank, missed each other each with melee like 4 times before he just turned and jumped out the window and shot me one more time. Because I thought I had to do a melee kill. It said close quarters. Like,
yeah,
I know Metal Gear. I know my CQC.
Absolutely.
Miss me with that shit. I'm in that booty. And then all of a sudden, he shoots me a little bit, and then I get knocked by the storm as he's running away. I'm like, well, god damn it, what is this? But yeah, like the multiplayer seems pretty healthy. All the zombies
as
people
it usually is.
All the zombies players have reasons to complain because it's kind of the least important branch as far as they're concerned. As far as what it looks like, you couldn't even unlock certain skills. You can't unlock any of the black market stuff by playing zombies.
Right, like the cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, you couldn't unlock them if that was the only mode you played was zombies, which some people are like that. They're weird. They probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, they were mad that they couldn't do anything, and there's a whole nother like paid currency and weird shit for zombies too. So like, there's multiple paid unlock things and currencies and weird shit. And there's a lot of monetization that Activision is known for.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't make its way into Destiny, considering they're not happy with how Forsaken did. Which just blows my mind, because all the players are now happy, and it did sell well, and...
Yeah, but, like, according to, the article we looked at with the estimated sales figures, they estimated that 60% of the active player base bought Forsaken. So that means... At the time of them looking into that information a week ago when this all broke out, there were still roughly 40% of the people playing, multiple times a week that weren't buying, and I don't blame them, because Destiny is like a damaged brand as far as anybody who's not a dedicated psychotic user of the product. It's like, oh hey. Here's this thing they've charged like $150 to get the complete experience twice now.
It's not that bad. I mean,
well, if you're buying those DLCs when they come out and you need them to get the content, you're talking $60 up front for the game, $20 for this pack, $20 for this pack, $40 for this pack that actually matters. Like. And then there's usually another pack after that, and then repeat now for Destiny 2. Like, this is 4 years of people like buying into a DLC, that DLC not being the one that's good, being disappointed, and then finally coming back with enough people they know that are just buying it up front, say, hey, it's cool now. Like, all right, how many times in this cycle are we going to go through this?
I mean, and that's part of the reason why, like we talked about last time, I'm kind of bummed that people and not Bungie are talking about Destiny 3. It's like, okay, we're good now. Like, this is, for all intents and purposes, this is how Destiny 2 should have launched. It should have launched with enough in-game content to keep people pretty happy, and then release, because the 2 DLCs were small, and I think realistically everyone knew that but didn't want to accept that, because we knew we were getting 2 DLCs and then an expansion. They were very clear with the wording, but the base game didn't have enough at the time, and you just, like, I got extremely burnt out, and then the DLC came out and it was like, alright, I'm done, and then the second one came out and it was like, okay, I'm done again. So I don't know, but it's good now. I hope more of the active player base comes back. I hope, they don't have to put in all this bullshit currency and stuff into the game. And hopefully Bungie says no. Because Luke Smith said they're happy with it.
Yeah, and like, it's one of those things of where, like, I love and I respect Bungie. They've made a lot of great games, franchises I've cared about. They also, unfortunately, make Destiny. And I saw his tweet, and it's a very smart thing for him as a business, because Bungie is still, an independent developer. They're not owned by Activision. They just have a exclusive, development deal for 3 games with Activision. Which
makes me wonder how much, like, can Activision tell them to put this stuff in there? I hope not.
I mean, Activision owns the IP, I do believe. So I think they do have a higher level of authority than people probably want. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones paying for all this.
Yeah.
And I saw the response from Luke Smith, and it was smart for him as Bungie as a business. But I saw that tweet, and I was like, hey, Luke, shut the fuck up. You don't matter in this situation. This isn't, hey, your audience cares about this, but the product you want to make is not a mass appeal product. It's a very specific, awkward, weird bullshit game.
And they're figuring that out, finally.
Well, like, it's like the whole deal with Activision has always been kind of contentious. It's like, hey guys, you had this plan to make this product that's not going to make money. Activision only cares about making money. They're a business. And then you've burned a considerable portion of the audience that would support you by succumbing to the shit business practices of Activision.
Yeah.
Charging more money than this game ever should have been worth. And now, like, the report from Activision, like in that earnings call, was like, there's a lot of people that are going to wait and see. No, you lost them. They're not coming back. Unless they find like a super, super cheap markdown version of the Ultimate Edition of Destiny 2 down the line. They're not buying in when it's, you know, fiscally relevant for you. They're going to come in and maybe play some content much later. Because they're tired of spending fucking money to be disappointed, to then spend enough money for them to finally make the game that they actually want, and then to be happy now, where a lot of the, you know, community is very happy with Destiny 2 right now. The people that care, the people that are still invested, it's great for them. But like Activision is like, hey, we set expectations for this. We met our expectations with the release of this game. It's just, hey, by our practices and the scale of the content you've released in the 2 updates we charge people for, you fucked up.
Yeah.
And now we're not making as much money as we want.
I mean, that being said, as much as I do love Destiny, I do get on daily or every other day and do, you know, my daily quests and stuff. My Xbox copy, I still haven't, I've barely started Forsaken. Because I will start it up and just be like, I don't want to.
I don't want to redo all this.
Because I played through the original campaign and DLCs 5 times. You know, 3 characters on my PC and 2 on my Xbox. And it's just like, I could, and I should, because that's what my dad and my brothers play. But, man, I just need to hand my copy over to one of my brothers and be like, get me to the end, and then I'll play with you guys. I'll do the strikes and stuff. Like, because I would love to on my Xbox. I would love for Destiny to be my comfort game on Xbox the way it is on my PC. But, yeah. It's still like the best fucking shooting out right now. It's so good. And I love the world and the lore, but
I object to that statement, but I understand that this is all opinion.
Yeah.
And this is what matters to you, but like I'm still mad I spent the $60 at launch at Destiny 1. Like, I'm still that annoyed at the existence of this
and
franchise.
see, we can cut this conversation kind of short because we've had it before, but I am so ignorant of that because I bought Destiny 1 at the end. Like, with all the DLC, like, and that game was fucking fantastic.
But, well, my thing is like, the thing I've talked about before, and it's kind of like the whole situation going back to, like, Diablo Immortal. It's like, business is all about setting and managing expectations. And at the initial offset of what Destiny was, they kind of, like, were super vague about certain things. And I bought into a bill of goods that was never going to be there. And that burned a lot of people also that bought it at the launch because it was barren.
Well, I think they were, and this is again just kind of speaking from what it seemed like, because I was never there at the launch of World of Warcraft, but I feel like they wanted to be the new World of Warcraft, where they're like, here's a cool foundation, and we're going to build on it all the time and charge you for that building. But there just wasn't enough. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like, you essentially had a starting zone's worth of content in launch Destiny for the same price of the entirety of launch WoW. Like, what? Are you kidding me?
Pretty much.
So they kind of fucked themselves from the start with marketing that to people, because you think, hey, Bungie makes cool shooters, and to certain extents, you know, the shooting's cool in Destiny, but I'm not a grind MMO guy.
And I'm not either. But Destiny does that for me. I don't like the hot bar gameplay.
Yeah, but a lot of what, you know, I was being shown at the launch, you know, up to and leading to the launch was, hey, yeah, this is all stuff that's in there, but it's still a cool shooter. And you can go play this, you know, Crucible, this Destiny PvP stuff. Cool, Bungie makes cool PvP games. And then I get a week into the game and realize, oh no, the only stuff that's worthwhile to use in the PvP means I have to spend literally 40 hours grinding over the course of 2 weeks to get this one gun. That's the entire meta right now in the Crucible, and I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to be punished for it.
Yeah, and now you do, 400 hours of Crucible grinding to get the Crucible weapon, which is cool.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where, like I'm still annoyed at the thought of the... Because I haven't spent another dime. I've played all the Destiny content. I've checked it all out. I keep giving it a shot, because I'm still salty and annoyed that I did any kind of support for this franchise, because I thought it kind of shouldn't have existed in the first place. Looking at the business deal of Activision and being skeptical about it back then when they announced that deal, and then seeing that I was kind of right this whole time of like how much they kind of don't respect each other.
Yeah, I wonder what this game would have looked like if Bungie just self-published.
Yeah. It probably would have been Warframe, and it probably would have been cool.
Oh man. Oh, Warframe's out tomorrow on Switch.
And apparently Panic Button did a massive bang-up job on the port. It runs well.
Yeah, those guys don't fuck around. They don't release half-ass content.
Some of them Texas boys.
Yeah, because their content costs $75 per character. You get the Prime.
Yeah, well, that's
What?
If you buy like the pack. So like the way the Prime packs work is that's usually early access to that content, and there's a certain amount of that content you can just get by playing the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or you can just spend a crazy amount of money. But that's one of those situations where, like, that costs too much. And, oh my god, everyone's buying it. Are you people mad? No? Alright. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
It's the exact same thing with, like, the cost of skins in Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's like, people were like, it costs $45 for the Suicide Squad skins in PUBG. And it's only these 2 skins that don't look good. And, like, a gold rarity...
From the critically acclaimed Suicide Squad.
I mean, it won an Emmy.
What?
for makeup and effects.
What the fuck were they up against? What the fuck?
Well, no, like, if you look at the practical effects of Killer Croc in that movie...
Yeah.
It is an absolute masterpiece. Like, that shit is insane. Like, the skill...
We're gonna James Gunn Suicide Squad, so hopefully that'll be good.
but yeah, like a gold rarity skin, which doesn't pop into the store that often, it's like $20 just out on Front Street, just $20. Here's this skin. But they regularly put out a lot of purples, which are like 15. But like, hey, like none of this matters, and this is the only thing they charge you for.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are it's like, hey, like I've already put like 300, 400 hours into Fortnite over the course of a year.
Yeah, it's like when you were telling me about the cosmetic stuff in Blackout? Yeah, Blackout.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but it's cosmetic. And you're like, but look at the fucking chores I have to do for them. It's like, no, fair.
Like, hey, I could spend $20 up front on stuff in Black Ops and potentially not be able to use it without doing these ridiculous fucking checklists that require both luck and skill. Like, it's weird. So yeah, I understand. You can pay to skip tiers in the black market, and like apparently the pay out the entire like 200 tiers is a couple $100. Yeah,
can you imagine like spending $60 on a game and like GameStop hands you like one of those wood box things, like puzzle boxes? Like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
But yeah, like people were annoyed at like the PUBG skins because they look terrible, and they didn't matter. At least with Fortnite, that's part of like the whole appeal. Is like you could be so personal with how you want your character to be.
Yeah,
and that's where like the crazy attachment is for Fortnite.
Well, we should go ahead and move on to what we've been playing this week. So I'm going to go ahead and run that little thing. So I've been playing, and this kind of worked out because this game is now on PC. I've been playing Sunset Overdrive, and it's a game I've owned for a while. I remember playing it and being like, this is fine, and like, I don't remember why I didn't get into it, but I just decided to try it again, and holy shit, this game is fun. Oh my god.
Like, it's one of those things of, like, I was in a different Discord talking to some people when, like, the initial leak, and then later that day they confirmed, and then later, a few days later, they released it.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty much as soon as they announced it, it was available that day. About why, you know, this wasn't, you know, much more successful, you got to think of, well, one, this game came out the first year of the original Xbox One.
Right.
And at best case scenario, there were as many Xbox Ones in the world as there were Wii U's ever sold. There's like maybe 13 million.
Yeah, and it's a Microsoft exclusive, right?
Yeah, so it was a Microsoft exclusive. It was only on one platform, the Xbox One. So it didn't have, you know, PC sales to potentially, like, salvage the total numbers of the franchise.
Yeah, I think Microsoft's getting smart now with exclusive. They're like, all right, we'll also put it on our PC store. Because why not?
Yeah, because Microsoft realizes, like, they're here to be a marketplace.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily here to be the end-all, be-all market. They just want you to come here and spend money. Like,
yeah, exactly.
The software is where they make all their money anyway.
And some games, if they don't do that, like Sunset Overdrive, are going to suffer.
Yeah, regardless of how good they are. But also, you got to think of, this is it was a launch window title because it was the first year of the Xbox One. I don't think it came out as a launch title. I think it was early because they had a Sunset Overdrive bundle that was a white Xbox One before the 1S that came with the game. But it's like this weird, like, bro humor almost, kind of goofy shit. It's a zombie apocalypse started by energy drinks.
Yeah, which I love.
And bounce and jump around and shoot things and things go splat. It's got a lot of gross, silly humor. Like, I loved the game, but like, this was not a game that was going to appeal to a lot of people. Like this is a very specific product. And I had also mentioned to somebody, like, this was Insomniac at their weakest.
Really? You think so?
Well, no, like, this is like one of their stronger games.
Oh, okay.
But their history at the time of this game coming out, they were in a bad spot because this was not too long after they had essentially, like, cut off their exclusivity deal with PlayStation.
Right.
They were still making out some of the Ratchet and Clank games that were not like the full big release games. They were smaller, like $40 titles.
By the way, Xbox One came out in November 2013, and Sunset Overdrive came out October 2014. So yeah, pretty much there.
I knew it was the first year.
Yeah, it was early. That's pretty early.
But yeah, so with Insomniac at this time, they had put out a mediocre Ratchet and Clank game. They put out Fuse, which was an abysmal failure. They put out another Ratchet and Clank game that not everybody really liked. And then here's this weird guy, like, rail grinding on power lines, shooting, you know, orange energy drink zombies. Like,
yeah, they made Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, Resistance. I don't know what Fuse is.
Fuse was this awful multi-platform, like, co-op shooter. It was third-person, four-player shooter.
This looks familiar.
Yeah, like, it was cool in concept, but, like, the parts that worked were great, but then all of a sudden you realize that game was over, like, super fast. This is a game that came out, like, in the sweep of the craze of when Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 were still relevant. And there's a big push for weird, like, co-op shooters at the time.
Right, and then they made Sunset Overdrive, and they made a bunch of weird fucking games. Fruit Fusion, Bad Dinos, what?
So, like, it was weird. Like, this week, I was listening to a couple of different, like, podcasts about video games, and I came across, like, IGN Unlocked, and I listened to a part of, like, the podcast they covered the XO18, which we're going to get to in a little bit. And they're talking about what was, like, the biggest independent developer still around. It's like, hey, guys, Insomniac. I was like, how the hell are they talking about Sunset Overdrive and not mentioning, Insomniac's an independently owned company?
Right.
They have like 2 or 3 studios. They're a massive business, but they're still privately owned. They're talking like maybe Bungie's like one of the biggest like prestige developers. This it was like, no, guys, Insomniac. Like, what do you mean? Like, they may be a publicly traded company, but they're still predominantly owned by original founders of this company. They still make pretty much whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, they made
Song of the Deep was a cool game.
That's supposed to be really good. Edge of Nowhere. Oh, it's not a Rift game. Okay. Yeah, they clearly make whatever the fuck they want. They made a VR game. They made Song of the Deep. They made iOS games.
Yeah. That's the weird thing also of like going back and like talking about a company like Remedy. They're the people that are making the game Control, and they made the original Max Payne and Alan Wake. Is like, so the code name for Control before it was announced is called Project 7, because that's only the 7th game they've made, and like 3 of those games are weird like PC and mobile games. Like it's like, yeah, I mean, these companies got to go make the money where they can.
By the way, you mentioning their independence is interesting because in their wiki, there's a quote from the CEO, Ted Price. "We definitely have been very vocal about maintaining our independence. I really enjoy what I do, and I don't like being told by other people what to do. And I think a lot of people at Insomniac feel exactly the same way." Holy shit.
Yeah. They're based in, like, I want to say North Carolina as well as like Epic.
Industry, key people headquarters. No, California, Burbank, California.
They've got their second studio in North Carolina. I want to say they have a second. I think the studio that made Ratchet and Clank, the PS4 remake of the first game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's their West Coast or East Coast studio. But yeah, they Insomniac's great. Like, they've been making cool stuff for years because they made some weird ass like first person shooter on the original PS1. It was awful. It was like Doom style graphics.
Right.
It was almost the launch game, I want to say. But yeah, they've had this long history of being with PlayStation, and then right around the time they got around to making Sunset Overdrive was at the peak of them betraying like this fan base essentially that had supported them for like 20 years.
It's like Bungie kind of betrayed Xbox and giving exclusive shit to Sony.
Well, to be fair, Bungie started off on Mac. So
yeah,
Halo started off as a third-person RTS on Mac.
Well, they're just stabbing everybody in the back.
Yeah. Now they just make a shit game called Destiny.
Alright. Yeah, so I've been playing Sunset Overdrive. I've made it quite a way through. I don't know if I've talked about it on this show, but it's, on the FewTrueVillains website, you'll see a lot of LARP content. And I'm at the point now where I've met the LARPers. Have you played it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I whenever I got my Xbox One, that was one of those games I played through pretty quickly. Like, it was sad. Like, I got my Xbox One S for like $170 because like the white model I had that came with like Halo, that bundle for that holiday was like on clearance, so I got it like super cheap, like a few months after this bundle released. Like, it was crazy.
But it's funny playing through that part of the game because the guy that sends you over to that area, he's like, "I need you to know something. He's a LARPer." They just laugh.
Yeah.
And you get there, and they're all talking all medieval and shit, and I'm like, yeah, this is accurate. And then there's the one chick that's like, I don't talk like a fucking idiot. And I'm like, oh, it's me! I'm that person! I can't do that stuff when I LARP. I just go out there and hang out.
But yeah, the Sunset Overdrive is the highlight of my maybe 1 month run it took me to get through all of the Xbox One exclusives. I was so sad I was done that fast. It's like I played through all, because I had the Gears of War collection, I had the Halo collection, had Halo 5, Sunset Overdrive, then I played through all those games back to back to back, smashed through them, and I was like, wow, I'm already done. Oof. This explains a lot. Well, yeah, Sunset Overdrive, I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I think I'm gonna finish it because, like, even the collectibles and stuff, I enjoy doing, and there's a purpose for it. You know, you unlock the amps. But the gameplay is fantastic.
Power-ups get cool.
Yeah, all the weapons I've been using are tons of fun. Like, it never stops being fun, pretty much. And that's
the male character is Yuri Lowenthal, who's Spider-Man in the new Spider-Man game.
His voice is, and my fiance swore that was Cookie Masterson from the Jackbox games. And I was like, that's not Cookie. I don't know what the fuck you're talking. Cookie is Cookie. And I looked it up. It's like, no, look, Yuri Lowenthal does not do Cookie Masterson's voice, but she swore it's the same person. Like, it's not.
It's not, lady. Calm down. Go play your Jackbox.
I love Jackbox so much. I could do a whole podcast about Jackbox. I actually meant to talk about that on the podcast a few weeks ago, but maybe another time. And then, wait, actually, I played it because I saw you playing it. We both played Grip.
Yeah. I mean, it's a game.
Okay, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, so, like, Roll Cage, I want to say, is, like, the old game that there was, like, an Xbox original game, that this is, like, the spiritual successor, and, like, I had been seeing this game, and it's, like, beta early access for, like, 3 years at this point. And I was like, that looks neat, that looks cool. And then you get a hold of it, and it's like, oh, it's really that old game from Xbox. Like, there's almost no real changes to it, and it kind of looks like butt cheeks.
Yeah, it looks like a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, I mean, it really does.
It plays like a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, it's neat, but oof.
Yeah. I started playing and I was like, I need this in my life. This is fucking awesome. And then I hit gas. And I quickly realized, oh, maybe I don't.
Like, literally, like, the clip I uploaded was 18 minutes, I want to say. And that's exactly as long as that game stayed installed on my Xbox.
That's about the same for me.
It was like, oh, this is just average at best. Like,
even
nothing excels.
Even the customizer, the car customizer sucks.
Yeah. Well, like, no, the audio mix is bad.
Oh, really?
Like, of, like, hearing sound effects versus music versus, you know, the ambient noises in the map.
Right, I just found all the sound very underwhelming, especially the weapons.
It was just muddled. Like, it was all, like, the channels were clashing with each other. Oh, and then this part of this video, like, I actually fell off the map, and then I died, like, 3 times again in this tutorial.
Yeah.
Because it respawned me on the roof upside down.
Right.
But not at a speed where I had the grip. Right. Get it? To stick to the roof. So then I would just, like, spawn back on the track, and I would just fall. And it would be random as hell because I didn't know what I was doing to salvage myself, and I'd fly off the map. And again, I'm like, could you stop, game? Could you fucking not do this right now?
Yeah, I like that you just now you had so little fucks about the game, you couldn't be bothered to pay attention during the countdown.
Yeah.
And you're catching up to them. What the fuck?
Yeah, like,
you should be screwed right now, and you should not be catching up to them.
Yeah, this game also, the few races I played in the actual campaign, I was like, this is one of the worst games I've seen in a long time for catch up and rubber banding. It's like just out of nowhere, this guy would just be like a light year in front of me. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like I'm doing the max speed my vehicle can do. This guy just ran past me like like a fat kid doing a handstand run.
And then like there's a machine gun weapon, which I was right on this dude's ass, and it did nothing to him.
Yeah, like the best I ever saw the machine gun do was like make a guy spin out. It didn't even like blow him up.
Yeah, the
like,
rocket launcher didn't do anything. I hope for a boost every time.
Yeah,
that was a weird grip.
Yeah, but hey, it's Game Pass. Go check it out.
No, don't.
Nope. So, some people have varying degrees of what they find acceptable, as we found out as we've talked about Destiny. So
you should pass on this Game Pass game.
Yeah, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
There's just better racing games. Fuck it, dude. Forza's on Game Pass.
Yeah. Horizon 4 is on Game Pass. Like, why would I ever touch this game again?
Yeah, I saw
like,
it.
I found no real way to control like the spinning in midair.
No, there's not.
And I was like, why? Like, there's no benefit for me to do any of the cool shit in this game.
Right.
Like, it's only gonna fuck me.
Yeah, even like going up on the walls a lot of times, like you tried to a little bit ago, it just stopped you.
Yeah, like I caught like the one corner that didn't matter, and I just came to a complete stop.
You've been on the ground this whole time. What the fuck is the point in the grip thing? Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
Tunnel now. But even still, like going up on a wall, you kind of hit a little bit of a bump that, yep, here you go. Now you can't really spin, and now you're fucked.
Now
and,
I'm flying off into something else.
Yeah. And, like, it's an interesting concept, but it's super poorly done.
Yeah. And like I said, I've been watching the development of this from this small team for a few years. This game was in early access on Steam for at least over a year, if not more.
Damn.
Yeah. Like it because I remember seeing like GIFs of this on like r/game dev on Reddit like 2 years ago at this point. But yeah, it's oof.
Yeah, I saw your video. I watched a video for like 30 seconds and was like, alright, that's cool. I'm going to download that. Which was a mistake. But, oh well. Thank God for Game Pass and not buying it. That's something that I would have bought if it was like $1 or $2.
Yeah, also, I just saw again, like, some of these maps are just kind of like there. Like, on this map, I was like, I wasn't sure where the actual edges of the map mattered. So then I flipped off of something out into the outer bounds and got reset onto the track. I was like, how was I supposed to know I wasn't supposed to go over there? There's like no real visible, easy to spot boundaries telling me don't do that.
You're just supposed to know.
Yeah, like it's a clusterfuck. Yeah.
It really is. But so we're gonna go ahead and get into news because there's a lot of that. And the first thing we're going to talk about today is some high-res and Smite news. Well, Smite, Realm Royale, and Paladins.
All of the high-res products.
Yeah. And it's news that I'm honestly super excited about because I love Smite. Anytime I played what's the one on Switch? Is it Arena of Valor? Valor Arena? Something like that?
Yeah, Arena of Valor is the Ubisoft, like, is that the... No, I'm thinking of there's Air Mech Assault is like this weird, like, Gundam-ass, like, top-down thing. Arena of Valor.
Arena of Valor is League of Legends, basically.
Basically, yeah.
I played that on the Switch a little bit, and it was fine, but, like, it is just League of Legends, which is it's just weird. Like, it felt like a ripoff of League of Legends. I think that's all it is. Like, it felt like a direct, like one of those Chinese games.
Yeah, like it feels...
Korean games, actually. But, yeah, it just feels weird. It feels like they literally copied the code and put different skins on, and I don't know, I didn't really care for it. Like, I was like, alright, I want a MOBA kinda on the Switch, and then I saw the thing about, so what's gonna happen is Realm Royale, Smite, Paladins is gonna have crossplay, and cross progression. and I read it's going to be on the Xbox One, PC, Mac, and Switch. And I went, wait, Switch? What the fuck?
Yeah, because they've already got Paladins out on Switch.
Yeah.
And they were bringing Smite over, just not out yet.
Early 2019.
Realm Royale is one of those things that's in kind of weird limbo.
It's early.
Yeah, because Realm Royale like lost all momentum. They recently had a $25,000 tournament like sometime this last week.
Yeah.
Because they were throwing big money at that game when it first launched, and like had like paid like ad streaming for a lot of big streamers. Had a bunch of like $5,000, $25,000 tournaments back to back, where guys like Ninja and Shroud and a lot of these popular streamers were competing in, and then they couldn't leave that fucking game alone. Like, that game is the exact, you know, like, Call of Duty and PUBG may not be doing enough to change, but man, Realm Royale was going like 3 times as much as what Fortnite was doing, and just couldn't leave it alone. To where like they put out a patch, they do crazy new shit, no one like it, they revert that patch, so they go back to how it was, slightly different from a week ago, and then 2 days later put out another patch that fucks it all up again. Like, nobody could learn any kind of consistent behavior within that first like 4-month launch on Steam. Because I didn't play that many games of it, but every time I turned Steam back on and ran a game, it was a different feel. Like, oh hey, these guns that were only in the Forge was like the cool unique thing about this game. Now they just can be loot spawns. Like, you just find them on the floor. Like, getting rid of that whole risk reward aspect of fighting somebody, getting a chicken token, chicken trophy or whatever, and then spending the resources or the money to buy the thing, and you gotta wait, and everybody can see the smoke coming out of the Forge. Like Realm Royale has a lot of cool potential, but they gotta figure out what the fuck that game is.
I have access to it on Xbox. I need to play it. It looks like fun.
Yeah, because they had like a beta on consoles, and there's been like no other info really beyond that point.
And Smite is my jam. Like, I have hundreds of hours in that game. I was super into Smite back in the day. And the best thing about the cross progression, because I own the Ultimate God Pack on PC, I got to download it on Xbox now, because I don't know, before it did not count. Like, you had to also purchase them on Xbox. But now they're saying that if you purchase it on PC, then it counts for everything.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
The cross-play and cross-progression that they're talking about, like, that's still all, like, early to mid-2019 before any of that stuff, like, really kicks in.
There is a account connection, though, with Xbox and PC. So I'm curious if right now I can do that.
Well, I think for a bit there, because it also happened with, like, Paladins on the PS4, I think there was kind of like a one-way transfer of like your progress. You couldn't revert it. So like you'd lose all your progress on your PC if you switched it all over to Xbox. At least with Paladins on the PS4, so to speak.
And I think Smite was the same thing.
But yeah, you know, it's weird, like, thinking high res is like, there is like an oddly large like Paladins console community to where they have like pro tournaments that are almost exclusively like the console players. like Paladins has no like super competitive community I've found on PC, but they host actual like tournaments people go to for Paladins, which is one of those weird things in the esports world. Like, okay, this is the platform this picked up on that everybody like took super seriously for some reason.
Yeah, I like Paladins, and every time I play it, I just end up wanting to play Overwatch. But I know they're not one for one the same, but they do feel pretty similar. But Smite, like, I'm excited for Smite because I'm already fairly invested in that, and can just jump right in and play it. And Paladins, I feel like with the card system and stuff like that, I really need to learn that. And,
yeah, the whole card deck system was like one of those things where like,
I wish it didn't exist.
Paragon.
I wish the card thing didn't exist, because then I would be more...
card thing too.
Yeah, I'd be more apt to jump into Paladins if that didn't exist. But I think it's a way... It's a thing to keep people playing, and I don't know if you buy them or anything, but...
Yeah, like, I like the base mechanics of Paladins, and then I played more than, like, 4 games, and then I ran into guys with some absolute bullshit card decks, and I was like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
So, no PS4 mentioned as of yet, but much like the situation with Rocket League,
yeah,
and any of the people that currently aren't Fortnite, like, all the people that had plans for this stuff, they got that, you know, that gun hidden under the counter for when someone walks through and says, okay, it's time to go.
Do you think...
You're going to pull that out and just whip it out on people.
Do you think Sony's going to do it?
Well, again, we're still at the quote-unquote beta phase of this whole cross-play movement. So, I mean, it's worked out well for them. Got them a lot of positive feedback for Fortnite.
Yeah, so the next bit of news is they are making a Devil May Cry TV series. And Adi Shankar is... directing it?
He's the producer.
Yeah.
Like he has written a lot of the stuff he's done. But I don't know if he has directed any of the Castlevania stuff that he kind of popped into, you know, the zeitgeist, so to speak, with how good the Castlevania series was on Netflix.
I haven't seen it. I've heard it's really good.
Well, both season 1 and 2 are out. It's 14 episodes, like 4 in the first season, and I think 10.
Oh wow, okay.
Like, it's not very long. Like, people were kind of annoyed that the first bit was like literally done in an hour. And like, wait, that's it? You fuck? You just gave us like the coolest thing I've ever seen as far as video game like media that's not a, you know, video game, and then you only give me 4 episodes, you cock tease.
If you are not familiar with Adi Shankar, get familiar with him, because he made probably one of the best Punisher. I love Punisher from Netflix, but the Punisher Dirty Laundry short that he did is awesome. And he also did a Venom one. What else did he do?
He did a Power Rangers reboot.
Oh yeah, he makes really cool shit.
And it's all part of what he calls his bootleg universe.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a Punisher short called Dirty Laundry.
So with Devil May Cry, it's part of his bootleg universe. So it's all in this kind of weird interconnected reality. But there's not really any other details as to like platforms or if it's going to be animated or a live action show. This is just kind of like the announcement that, hey, this exists. But one of the cool things in like his interview talking to, I want to say IGN, is that the second season of Castlevania was successful enough that they already greenlit it for season 3. So
That's
not
awesome.
only do we potentially have a really cool, like, officially sanctioned, probably well budgeted Devil May Cry series coming out of him, but also, hey, that thing everyone seems to really like, there's another season of that.
Right. And another bit of news I have here is that Reggie and Nintendo have basically said that Nintendo 64 isn't coming anytime soon.
The N64 Classic.
What did I say?
You just said the Nintendo 64 isn't coming anytime soon.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nintendo 64 Classic.
Yeah.
He said I would not ever rule something out, but what I can tell you is certainly that it's not in our planning horizon. I'm kind of happy about this in a weird way, because I hope that means that we're just going to get Nintendo 64 stuff on the Switch.
Well, so the biggest issue, N64 is probably the biggest offender of games that can't really be re-released.
Right, with Rare and some of the other stuff.
Well, most of the games anybody gives a fuck about are all licensed.
Right.
GoldenEye, that's all licensed. Good luck with that. You know, the Rare games are owned by Microsoft.
Yep.
Except for like one or two of the franchises that Rare worked on that are wholly owned properties of, you know, Nintendo.
But I think you still have like Star Fox and Mario and Kirby, and I believe there was a really good Yoshi game on the 64.
Not that I'm aware of.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of GameCube. Yeah, I think there's still plenty of good Nintendo stuff they can make a classic out of, or just put them on the Switch.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, there's maybe 8 games on the N64 that are Nintendo-owned properties that anybody might want. We're looking at Mario 64, looking at Star Fox, we're looking at both the Zeldas.
Yeah,
and then
Zelda.
What else? I mean,
there's got to be, let's see, Super Mario Wave Race. I would love that. Cruising USA.
Both of those have licensed music.
Oh, shut up. To try to make a case here.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's like
Bomberman.
The N64. Well, Bomberman is Konami, but they've already put out Super Bomberman R, which is pretty cool,
I guess
on the Switch.
I'm looking at publishers of the 64 list. I should say developer. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably enough stuff to. Regardless, I hope that there's actually. Okay, I'm gonna take back everything I said. I hope there's not enough stuff to make an N64 classic, so that we just get
you
more.
couldn't make 20 games that people would actually want.
So, but like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I hope this is a good sign that we're just gonna get ports on the Switch, because I'm dying for a Star Fox port.
But well, I mean, Star Fox was just always average. Like, I love Star Fox 64, but it's.
Alright, you're getting muted. Banned from this fucking podcast. I love Star Fox 64.
I do too. But, like, if we're looking at it objectively, like, it's kind of, stupid and not great.
You're kind of stupid!
Yes.
And not great!
I've never been anything more than bald mediocre. I don't matter.
Fair. I just
think
that is my favorite Nintendo 64 game. Not Zelda, not this incredible open world game. For me, it's Star Fox. I've beaten that game so many times. But to be fair,
you know what just happened? I pressed Z to roll.
Yeah. I mean, when I had 64, I owned WrestleMania 2000, Star Fox, Mario 64. That may have been it.
Yeah, like.
Oh, Cruising USA.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I played the hell out of Star Fox 64. Did all the pass. I had the Landwalker tank and the stupid running around like this goddamn space harrier with a rocket launcher Star Fox out on foot. I did all that shit. But no, I mean, like, that game is rough. It's one of the worst games I've ever tried to go back to play. As far as like this is like, I don't believe in the idea of like ruining one's childhood, but this is close.
You are. So moving on. PlayStation is skipping E3 for the first time in the show's 24-year history.
So there's a lot of subtext to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's still not really an official statement from Sony. Like, the closest statement they have is, I want to say it's a lady in charge of a lot of the planning for Sony, said, we essentially have nothing planned for around E3, which who knows exactly how wide that range is of what would around E3 count. If she literally just means like that 2-week time frame of like before, during, and after. So I'm not sure. So they skipped PSX this year because, hey, why spend a couple $1 million for an event where the fans are gonna be under the expectation that there's gonna be all this crazy like E3 level hype, and then they didn't do it last year because they had already kind of blew their wad, and they did a lot of cool stuff for people that went to that event, but most of the people that watched PSX the last year didn't go to the event. They were watching it online and were disappointed because it's kind of chill, laid back developer interview thing, and they went in depth on a lot of stuff, but they didn't bring the heat. They didn't show all these cool things, so they canceled it this year because they didn't want to set expectations wrong for anybody. It's like, hey, yeah, we could have all the fans be here, make it a great event for the people that are there, but people are going to expect this thing. We can't meet that. So
it was actually Sean Layden that was talking about this, and he said that now that we have Spider-Man out the door, we're looking down in 2019 to games like Dreams and Days Gone, but we wouldn't have enough to bring people all together in some location in North America to have that event. We don't want to set expectations really high and not deliver on it. So, yeah, I think it makes sense. It's like, we're going to show you more stuff you already knew about.
Yeah. So, the whole thing with the E3 for next year, though, all came out in a Variety article. It's one of those weird things of, like one of the biggest news stories in gaming, potentially, in a while, that was found because somebody actually read the document that was released by the ESA, listing out, like, all the exact people signed on for the event, and Sony's name was just not missing. So I imagine the person who wrote that article for Variety was like scrolling through, didn't see Sony's name, didn't think about it for a sec, and looked back like, hey, wait, what? And then they flipped up, read the list again, like, Sony's name isn't on this list. This is a big deal. We got to write an article now. Like this.
Yeah.
This is just like low key, like the craziest thing, because it's been 24 years of E3, and Sony's been at every year except for 2019.
And I've also seen people saying, like, oh, does this mean E3's going down the tubes? And yeah, I don't think so.
Well,
I don't think E3's ever going away.
The thing is, there's still not really been any, like, open, talk from Sony about, hey, here's our actual plans. Because I don't think they really care to give anybody the real details about what they intend to do, because there's a lot of people trying to speculate, hey, maybe they're going to start doing like the Nintendo Direct style stuff,
right? I think they don't have anything to talk about.
Well, because they've already, like Sean Layden said, like, they've got 2 big first party games coming out early to mid next year, and everything else they have is in development.
Right, and yeah, I think it's when you were saying, plus people saying, oh, is E3 going down? Like, no, I think it's the simplest fucking solution, and it's exactly what they said. They just don't have much to talk about, so they don't want to get everybody all excited. Because I think that's actually very responsible, if anything.
Because, see, the thing is like, the fucking hype addicts are like, hey, you want to know who brings it 99% of the time at E3 and salvages most E3s? Fucking Sony. Like everybody, like the majority of things people talk about at most E3s, other than the 1 year where Xbox shot themselves in the fucking dick when they were talking about the launch of the Xbox One.
Oh, the entertainment system?
Yeah. Other than that, it's always been, hey, like, here's this cool thing from Sony. Here's this. Here's No Man's Sky. Here's all these neat things. And they've always been like the most consistently good, if not amazing, conference. And they closed out like all of the big boy conferences. They were, the last slot in, the end of the cycle. They went up last, so they had like the swing for the fences list. Like, hey, everybody's already given you what they can, and we're just gonna flip our dick out on the table and show you what we got.
Right.
So there still is, the potential Paris Games Week. Game Awards happens in like 2 weeks. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. They've already got a bunch of stuff. We've mentioned before, kind of funny, their game showcase. They confirmed that for their full list, they've got 63 games.
Yeah,
that's going to be crazy.
I think this is a big deal, but it's not as big a deal as people are making it out to be. I think it's a simple. Sony doesn't want to get people super hyped, so they're just like, we're gonna bow out this year. I'm sure as soon as their graphic designer was like, all right, so we're just using the same shit from last year.
Yeah.
They were like, no, why? Do we not have anything new?
But yeah, there's also, they have their own event.
Yeah.
Who's to say that they don't just make the craziest fucking PSX possible next year? Who's to say they don't announce an earlier event in the year before E3? Like this is still so much up in the air.
Yeah, I don't see them doing a Nintendo Direct type thing, because I think Sony and Xbox both really dig theatrics. And Xbox bought, or Microsoft bought that big. They have the Microsoft, not Stadium, but like theater, the Microsoft Theater.
Well, like PlayStation has a theater in like New York City.
Do they? Okay.
The most fucking expensive place in the world to own a goddamn theater, and they have one that's branded PlayStation.
Jeez.
Because they've done their PlayStation Experience tour, where they have like multiple theaters across the entire United States. You can go to.
Okay.
It's in the theater with a bunch of fans, and watch the press
cool.
conferences and stuff before. There's all sorts of crazy shit Sony does for their fans outside of PSX.
Yeah.
So there's the concern about a few people were thinking about all the non-Sony studios that really benefited from having that presence with Sony at E3, but yeah, that makes it easier for the games media to cover it because all in one spot. But it doesn't mean Sony's not going to do anything and not bring anything out, swing for the fences. It's just, hey, this is all in limbo right now, and everybody's fucking panicking because it's unprecedented in 24 fucking years that this hasn't happened. But again, how much space could Sony take up, in that event? They're allowing more people next year in E3 than they were even this year because they've opened it up to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So who's to say, EA wasn't at E3 last year, but they kind of were. Their EA Play down the street, essentially.
Right. Yeah, and this year we can go ahead and talk about Xbox to the XO18.
Yeah.
Just a few days ago, or a little over a week ago. And some of the things they announced, let's see, they acquired Obsidian and Exile. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that, so those two studios just showed the Netflix approach to what they intend to do with Game Pass.
Right.
It's they're not going to throw massive budgets at either one of these companies. They're going to, because I think Obsidian is exclusively published now by Microsoft, but I think they're technically still an independent studio. They said they maintain their independence. So they're going to be making projects based on how they want to make projects, but they have to publish through Microsoft. They've got exclusive. I think they're owned by Microsoft and they have to publish through Microsoft, but Microsoft is currently saying we're pretty much keeping a hands out of the cookie jar approach to letting them run their business.
And Obsidian has made games like the. Oh wow! It just left my mind. The
Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, but what was recently? Pillars of Eternity.
They did the Alpha Protocol, which is a super weird, buggy ass game.
That game could have been really fucking good.
Well, it is outside of the game part. The RPG, the character, the story stuff is all fucking fantastic, but that game
I hope we get Alpha Protocol 2. I really do.
They also made the Stick of Truth, the first South Park RPG.
Yep. They made New Vegas.
Obsidian was the king of the BioWare sequel for about a decade. They made, Knights of the Old Republic 2. They made Neverwinter Nights 2. all this crazy stuff back in the day. But In Exile is also oddly kind of directly linked to Obsidian.
Right.
Because those are the two studios that Fallout built. Old
Right.
Fallout, not Bethesda Fallout.
Right, it's some of the devs from the original studio.
Like, In Exile is created by Brian Fargo.
Yep.
The guy who started Interplay back in the day, that made the first few Fallout titles under Black Isle Studios. And all the developer talent and writers, essentially, from that are the guys that started Obsidian. Like,
yeah, and then Exile made, In Exile, rather, it made Wasteland 2. Apparently they're making Wasteland 3, which I didn't know.
yeah, Wasteland 3 is in production. They had shown something off a while back of, like, this cool, like, frozen area. There's, like, snow on the ground. But yet, they make specific CRPGs.
Right, if you dig the old Fallouts, the original Fallouts, Wasteland is the new version of that. But they also made Torment, Tides of Numenera, The Bard's Tale, what else did I see? Hunted
They just
Demon's
put out Bard's
Forge.
Tale 4. Hunted Demon's Forge is one of those games where it was weird hearing people like talk about that game like having potential. Because like I liked the idea of Hunted Demon's Forge. Are you aware of what this game is?
I remember playing it back in the day, but like I don't remember what exactly.
It was a 2-player co-op.
Right.
Gears of War clone. Where it was fantasy, like there was a dude with a sword and like this lady.
I was gonna say it was more
bow.
melee based though.
Yeah, it was fantasy, swords and bows, Gears of War 2-player co-op. So it's kind of like take like the control scheme and style of like Gears and that kind of like that camera work storytelling, but mix in some weird Army of Two co-op shit.
And they also made Choplifter HD.
I mean, these companies are working. Like most of the previous games that have come out recently for both of these studios were kickstarted. Yeah.
In the Bard's Tale 4, I think people aren't loving.
Well, it has kind of mixed reviews. I think last time I saw.
It looks fucking cool though. It's got 84% PC gamers, 71% Metacritic, 6 out of 10 on Steam, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's just certain people don't like it, and kind of had a lot of slightly more favorable, like critical review. But yeah, like so what I say about like the Netflix approach is, these companies are gonna make a couple of smaller games every 2 or 3 years, and really keep the offerings that are available, because both of these companies are predominantly PC.
Yes.
And Microsoft is looking to expand the Game Pass into the PC market.
Wasteland 2 is on Xbox and it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's also on Switch. If you're a dork, want to play an even worse looking version of that game.
I didn't know it was on Switch, actually.
Yeah,
I would not play it on Switch. I wouldn't play it on Xbox either.
I checked it out on Xbox in the Game Pass, and it looked rough.
Yeah, I looked at the screenshots, didn't want to play it, but that's also like we talked about. I don't want to play Cities on Xbox just because it's such a mouse and keyboard experience. I downloaded Prison Architect and I played it for about 5 minutes. And keep in mind, this is a game I have hundreds of hours in on PC, and I was just like, nope, I fucking hate this. So yeah, I hope. Well, I hope that they put these games on Xbox so people who don't own a good PC can play them. But I hope that they do continue to make games primarily for PC. For Xboxes, like you said, expanding the PC so they can put more stuff on Game Pass for PC people. Which is super smart.
Yeah.
Because right now there are... I think it's much more... It definitely is much more limited for PC. But there is some stuff.
Yeah, like I said, both these companies make cool stuff. If you're into old school style RPGs, which I'm kind of hoping they do kind of throw a little bit more money Obsidian's way,
Yeah.
And get them to make some of their more recent style things and not necessarily stick to the old CRPG stuff. Because like their more action focused games were always great. Because they made Fallout New Vegas, which for an 18-month turnaround, they made an insanely good game for how busted and broken that game was.
Right.
It still kind of is. Alpha Protocol needed work, but again, that was another game that was like not budgeted well, rushed out, had development issues, and they just kind of dumped it out on the world, which I think that was a Sega property.
Yep. I remember that being a Sega thing.
Yeah. And I think that was at a rough time for Sega financially.
I wanted to love Alpha Protocol so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just hoping they try new things instead of just only sticking to the same routine. Because realistically, most of their games have all been kind of cut and paste to their formula. It's just the writing and the depth of choice. Both of these games are very, very heavy on player choice, and they're actually mattering through the entirety of the story in the game.
Right. The other thing they announced is that Crackdown 3 is coming out in February.
February 15th?
February 15th.
The week before the crazy Day of Death, February 22nd, which there's already been like 2 or 3 games that left that day, and it's still crazy.
Yeah. But, I mean, Crackdown, it needs to come out already.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on Game Pass. I think it'll still do well. I'm excited for it. I've been playing Crackdown 1 a bunch. And it's still a fucking fun game. And just seeing all, them collect the orbs to increase the stamina, or agility rather, and the crazy weapons, and I hope this game is good. It's gotta be. Doesn't have to be, but I hope it is. like
this game, it's crazy that they did actually show off and announce the 5-on-5 multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
That is actually using the cloud-based computing for rendering stuff. They had shown off like 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, when I see, there's a gameplay trailer of that.
So not all of like the crazy weird shit about Crackdown 3 is gone.
Yeah, it still looks bonkers. So this new multiplayer mode looks pretty frantic. All kinds of crazy powers, just destroying shit. I hope all this destruction is in the main game. Oh, is that it? Well, what the fuck, Microsoft?
Yeah, they've still been like very reticent on posting a lot of things. But there's actual like hands-on experience stuff. I want to say the IGN like Hispanic like Spanish language affiliates were down at the XO event, and I want to say some of the footage is on IGN as well of them having some on-hand like experience playing the game.
And the original Crackdown is free at the Microsoft Store if you're listening to this soon enough, until November 30th. I highly recommend it. That game is a blast. It's just dumb fun. That's what I hope Crackdown 3 is. Crackdown 2, not on Game Pass.
Yeah, well, Crackdown 2 also, I'm not sure it's even on backwards compatibility.
No, I don't think it is. You would think they would have done that. Maybe they will. I guess they still got time. But speaking of Game Pass, PlayerUnknown's Battleground, PUBG, is coming to Game Pass. So, let's just let more and more and more and more people fucking play that game.
And be horribly disappointed.
I don't understand anything about PUBG, but I actually don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Just talking it to fucking death. They're going to make some improvements to the Windows Store. That's cool. I know I've had a little bit of problems with it. It's weird that they would have to fix their PC store. I mean, Microsoft is just getting into the PC race, but the fuck guys.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that I had heard a few different people's response on that front, and I had previously kind of encountered it myself.
Yeah, I had a hell of a time downloading Recore.
Well, it's just known that there's like a command shell script for Windows to clear your Microsoft Store cache to solve a lot of your issues getting into the Xbox storefront. I was like, what do you mean that this is just like super easily findable on like the help documents on Microsoft.com to hit, Yeah,
they've known that it's a problem.
Like this is that's just the state of where this store is at. And that's crazy.
I work at a PC shop, and Windows 10, whether or not it's good, is kind of a point of contention in the shop. And none of the people that don't like Windows 10 don't even use the fucking Microsoft Store, because I want to tell them, but you don't have any room to talk. Like, you don't even use the thing that is the most broken about Windows 10. But that's a whole other discussion. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is getting a physical edition. It's also coming to Game Pass in December. That's cool. I have not played that game, but it looks really good.
Yeah, Ninja Theory, company that made it. It's one of the studio acquisitions.
Right. Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to have Winnie the Pooh minigames.
So you can shirt dick it in style.
Final Fantasy 13? Yeah, 13 is getting backwards compatibility.
Like the whole Final Fantasy 13 trilogy.
Are those good? Did you play them?
They're a thing. I mean, the biggest issue until you get to super late game with Final Fantasy 13, which is the only one of those I played, is that there's massive corridor issues. So much of the standard Final Fantasy experience is getting to a spot, grinding, getting leveled up, moving on. Until you get to late game where it opens up into these big open air kind of open world sections.
Yeah.
It really is. You're just running down these corridors from point A to point B through these story segments. So if you do run far enough past where this screen transitions to the next screen and then run back, in a lot of those areas, those enemies could respawn.
Jeez.
So it was just one of those things where you had to play through a whole bunch of story stuff to get to the real game, and late game of that was rewarding to a lot of people. It's just I didn't like a lot of the base systems.
I didn't like lightning.
I was already on the falling off end of my tolerance.
Yeah.
For a lot of basic repetitive RPGs. And Final Fantasy 13 is just okay. That's the best thing we can say about it. And then they made 2 other games, and people bought them and liked them. It's weird.
And then they also announced Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10, 10-2, and 12 will all come to Xbox One sometime in 2019. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so they had announced the whole collection of a lot of those games coming out. Well, it's not a collection of them being one purchase. It's just, hey, they're going to be selling all these individually, and they're making ports for the Switch and other places. I
would like to get Final Fantasy 10 and 12 because I played those and I enjoyed them, but I never owned them. I always played them at a friend's house. Final Fantasy 10 I actually got pretty far in, I think. I never really know Final Fantasy games. Civilization Revolution is getting enhanced for Xbox One, and I'm really fucking excited about that because I love Civilization Revolution. So I'm all hyped for this, and it's coming soon. So hopefully that means soon and not sometime next year. Did you ever play Civilization Revolution?
Yeah, I played. I want to say Civ 1 through 4. I played Revolutions 1 and 2 as well.
Is there a 2?
I believe there was.
I don't think there is. I'm not sure what you're thinking of. I think it's just the same one. Civilization Revolution. Oh, 2 comes up. Oh, what the fuck is this? Oh, is this a mobile thing?
Okay, that's right. It was a mobile game I checked out.
Oh yeah, iOS, Android, PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, oh, it was on Vita. That's what it was. Because
Okay.
I played it on Vita before I got rid of my Vita.
Gotcha. Okay, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah, Revolution is an absolutely wonderful game on Xbox, and they fucking nailed it as a strategy game on console. I'll be playing a lot of that.
The thing they did was that they made a console for that experience.
Yeah.
Which is the exact opposite of what they did with PUBG.
No shit.
But yeah, that like Civ is great. I'm curious since Age of Empires is a Microsoft owned property.
They could do something with that.
Because they put out a Age of Empires 3 or something not too long ago. They had made a new Age of Empires that was still in the old style.
Did they?
And
I know they made like a mobile type thing.
There was another Age of Empires project announced like a year or two ago. I don't know if it ever.
Let me see, Age of Empires. Yeah, 3 is pretty old. Age of
Then it would've
Empires
been
4? Oh yeah, it's being developed by Relic Entertainment. Okay.
Okay, so it's still in progress. So yeah, they've announced that. So I'm curious if they plan to bring a console port of that over.
Probably. And since it's being built from the ground up, it should be pretty good. Sea of Thieves is getting a new game mode. The Arena pits crews against each other to see who can get the most treasure, and therefore the most glory. It will appear in the game sometime in early 2019. So that's cool. Whole new Sea of Thieves game mode.
It was funny seeing people like react to that. Like, oh hey, this game that's pretty much always PvP. They added more PvP. It's like, where's my chilled like pirate game where I can just be alone? It's like that game is like all grief all the time, depending on what kind of group of people you end up playing with when the server loads up.
And I'm getting this news from Kotaku, and part of their list was Xbox with a hat, which I'm showing on screen now. Thanks for that, Kotaku. I don't know what the fuck that's about. Let's see. State of Decay 2 is getting new weapons, gear, and enemies in the Zed Hunter update.
That just came out, I want to say.
Really?
Or it comes out Tuesday. Like that was a very soon release.
And they teased returning to Trumbull Valley from the original game, so that's pretty cool. Let's see, launches free Zed Hunter complete with crossbow. Yeah, it looks like it may be out.
Yeah, it was either Friday or tomorrow. I forget which one. Like that was a pretty much immediate release situation. The Zed Hunter update
is available now.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like I'm downloading State of Decay 2 again. I love that game. See, Just Cause 4. Rico doing stuff. Just Cause. The new trailer for that.
Just Cause 4 is insane because they've shown they've got like multiple insane weather systems in that one game. Like there's tornadoes, there's tropical storms, there's desert storms like sandstorms. There's all sorts of crazy shit. There's avalanches you can start in that game. Like
I've never played Just Cause.
I've played all of them. And Just Cause 3 was kind of a disappointment. Not because, like, well, it was more, it was expanded Just Cause 2, which is kind of what you expect. Mm-hmm. But the Just Cause 2 is like one of those experiences that caught so many people off guard towards like the latter half of like the Xbox 360 PS3 cycle, to where like it was just this big surprise, and then they didn't really like blow people's minds again with Just Cause 3. The big issue with Just Cause 3 is it was the first game put out by their New York studio they opened, and it had a lot of technical issues where I think it actually still has like so for the longest part I played through that game and I finished it, but it had a terrible memory leak on all the platforms. So you'd be playing for a certain period of time, and then you get into certain areas, and then your frames literally drop down to like 15 or less.
Damn.
Like, you'd be playing in slow-mo in a certain section, and the only way to fix the issue was to close out the game and open it back up. Like, you had to, like, hard quit the game to dump the cache.
That.
And, I mean, it was after, like, a few hour or two, you know, maybe before it hit. Certain areas it triggered almost all the time. So even if you did dump the game, if you went back to that area, like, it would just, like, chug. like you're trying to drink, you know, cottage cheese through a straw. Like, it was a rough scenario in certain areas. But it was a cool game, and the DLC they added to that game was absolutely insane. Like, Just Cause 2, they added, like, this hurricane gun, which was just like, this insane, like wind cannon. So like you'd point at things, and you just see like this giant truck in front of you like fly like 20 feet back from just this like this crazy air blast. Just Cause 3 added like Just Cause 2, one of the DLCs added like these rocket boosters on your parachute. So you had like this timer to like boost yourself, so like you could stay in the air forever.
Yeah, they just didn't give a fuck. They just added all kinds of crazy shit.
Just Cause 3, you had the wingsuit added in with your parachute. So you could, like, wingsuit, grapple hook on the ground to pull yourself a little faster, then pull your parachute, wingsuit out again. Like, you could cover entire sections of that map, you know, and never touch the ground. Like, you had this great mobility. With, like, the first DLC, they added, like, this mech suit. Like, that was, like, had, like, this giant, like, smashing ball and had, like, rockets. But that same DLC was like their DLC was 3 pieces: land, sea, air. The air DLC added like a straight up like jetpack kind of thing, to where it was like the best Iron Man game that could possibly happen. It was just you were an oddly like ambiguous gentleman from this weird country. Like, you're not sure what his ethnicity is. You assume he's Hispanic based on like the way the voice actor like portrays him.
Yeah.
And like the first game took place as you going into the South American country to disrupt it. Like, you're a CIA agent going there to fuck up a government. But so yeah, the third game takes place in like his home country, which, you know, is a fictional country. And yeah, man, like that jetpack stuff, like, it was crazy.
No, Devil May. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say they just seem to have. They apparently like rebuilt their engine from the ground up for 4, and it already, like, in the preview footage I've seen, seems to be running a lot smoother than Just Cause 3 did. So I have big high hopes for Just Cause 4. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'll have to try one of those games. I do like crazy games like that.
The full edition of like all the DLC with Just Cause 3 is on sale regularly for like under $10 all the time.
Oh shit. Okay.
Like, it actually may be on sale. I know it's on sale right now on the PlayStation Store for the Black Friday deals. It's probably also on sale on Xbox.
And Devil May Cry 5 has a void mode for training. It's a weird announcement, but okay.
Yeah, that, like, of all the crazy cool hype moments they've had for Devil May Cry 5, this was just like media. This was like the spirit segment of that last Smash Direct.
Yeah. Cats and pandas are coming to Minecraft. Pretty sure cats were already a thing. They kept creepers away. But weird announcement, but okay.
Yeah.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider is getting a new challenge too, and you're not allowed to talk about Tomb Raider anymore, so we'll move on.
Well, I just want to say
what
that challenge tomb has a co-op mode now.
Okay.
So you can play that disappointing game 2 players.
No, I'm not playing it. Mouse and keyboard is coming to 14 titles, including
Warframe, Fortnite.
Yeah, Warframe. Let's see, Strange Brigade, Deep Rock Galactic, Vermintide 2, A bunch of games you should probably play on PC anyways. But yeah, that's cool. Mouse and keyboard. Winter of Arcade is coming back to later this year. It used to be Summer of Arcade. So I'm super curious what they're going to do with that.
Yeah, that's the most important announcement out of this I saw. I was like, hey, hopefully they do some really cool stuff.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 4 has a new expansion coming out later this year. Takes you to Fortune Island, where you can see lightning storms and the Aurora Borealis on a big rocky mountain covered by winding roads. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, there's some new games coming to Game Pass. Hellblade, Ori, both the Ori games. Kingdom, New Crown, I think. What else is there? Supermarket Shriek, just some weird stuff.
Yeah, that Kingdom's Two Crowns is that
Two Crowns,
Kingdom's
that's
New
right.
Lands game.
Yeah.
But it's now with like a samurai aesthetic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I believe there's a 1v1 mode. Or like there's two competing kingdoms. That's why it's called Two Crowns.
Okay.
It looks cool. 'Cause that game was like super weird and chill until it's not, and it's super stressful.
And also, I don't think I talked about it, but I played Hello Neighbor. It's called Hello Neighbor, right?
Yeah.
They have one coming out called Secret Neighbor. What the fuck that
Yeah,
is?
so that's the thing is like a lot of people saw as soon as they announced Secret Neighbor and had played Hello Neighbors, like, oh, so this was just kind of like the proof of concept for the game they really wanted to make. They just had to make sure this worked. Because like Hello Neighbor is like this weird game of, you know, you're just breaking into this one weird guy's house who's probably a serial killer. You're not sure. Secret Neighbors is basically a game of where you're breaking in and stealing shit from your friends.
Huh. Okay. Agents of Mayhem, which looked cool, but I haven't really heard anything about it.
I played that game. That's coming to Game Pass. So the Saints Row guys made like the coolest looking multiplayer game.
Right.
That's not multiplayer.
Yeah.
And it's like a Saints Row parody of G.I. Joe.
Alright then.
Yeah, like all those characters are straight up like to like that is pure hardcore like G.I. Joe parody and a generic, not well put together open world. Almost looks like a really cool like extensive mod for Saints Row 4.
Yeah, so
I enjoyed it, but it's not fantastic.
A lot of these Game Pass games, I feel like, are fairly weak. Because a lot of them I don't know what they are, which doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But PUBG, fuck PUBG. Hellblade, cool. Ori, the Ori games are fantastic. I tried playing Thief of Thieves. That's the guy who wrote The Walking Dead.
Yeah, Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, that's one of his things. I started playing it. I love the characters. I got into that world. As soon as I started playing it, I could not get past like the initial tutorial, and it was fucking frustrating me. It's because on the side of the screen, it tells you, like, it shows like these different bars that tell you like whether or not you're being seen. My TV is stupid, and it cuts off those edges, so I literally cannot play that game. And they don't have options to shrink the screen.
You don't have like your overscan settings?
I just have a shitty off-brand TV.
Well, usually in the settings in the Xbox, there's a safe zone.
Right, there's
you might be able to adjust. Oof.
Yeah, I've well looked into this.
That's a game I've got installed. I want to give it a shot.
You should.
But talking about the Thief of Thieves,
Yes.
But speaking of Robert Kirkman, apparently a few hours ago, an article just posted that that final season of The Walking Dead is actually being worked on again now with some of the original staff.
Oh, that's good.
So we might actually get the ending of that. But the thing that was stalling me from checking out Thief of Thieves was that it says episode 1. And I'm like,
Oh yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
yeah, I was like, is this going to be kind of like the old Sam and Max? Or
I
it's gonna
didn't know anything about it. I just downloaded it because it was like a small game.
I was aware of the comic book property.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I wasn't.
But I had never heard of like the video game being worked on. So this was like a total surprise.
It seems like it's worth it. Like it really like the beginning of the game, the art style and everything. I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm at least gonna put some time into this game, but can't. So I would recommend checking it out. I might be on Game Pass for my PC, so I might be able to play it on my PC.
Yeah. Also, currently, if you're not on Game Pass, it's $1 for that first month again.
Ooh. Because mine expired yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's still within the renewal period for that $1 deal.
Oh, I might have to do that. So that's it for the news. Now we're going to go on to kind of a special news segment. Maybe this will just be a once-a-year thing, I guess. I am going to vote on my Game Awards stuff. I don't think these really matter though, right?
Well, no award for any game ever matters.
I mean my vote. Because you're right about that.
There's a lot of these categories that you can actually go vote on.
Yeah, I think all of them from the looks of it.
Yeah, so it's weighted to where like the actual industry people are the majority of the vote.
Okay. Gotcha.
So like the same judges that submitted their like list of 3 for these game categories to make like this list. So this is like a list by committee. Those same people also vote.
Right.
And then like their votes for these categories are weighted. They had a whole breakdown previously about it, but it's like some of these categories are really interesting, and some of them, like for as much as I don't care, it also kind of annoyed me that certain things weren't in some of these categories.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and go through. I'm gonna vote. I haven't played most of these games, but I don't really give a fuck. I'm gonna vote anyways.
Yeah, I've played most of these.
So what would you put for Game of the Year? We got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
So now the thing is, are we talking about what we would pick, or are we talking about what?
I want to know what you would pick.
What I would pick.
Oh,
for
okay.
This
I see what you're
category?
saying. Yeah, what would you pick?
For me, it was kind of a rigged game from the start. It would be Red Dead.
Yeah.
Because I've always loved westerns. Arthur Morgan is probably like the coolest character I've come across that doesn't stand out. Like it's a weird masterpiece of like character work, because a lot of the smaller dialogue is very important to you when your experience with him is, influenced based on like how nice or shitty a person you've been. So you hear this person, come to a realization of like the folly of his life or the reaffirmation of his bad decisions, and it tears this man apart, or like he just commits all into the craziness and realizes like he's not a good man.
So you're Red Dead for this one.
Yeah, like I absolutely loved God of War.
That's where my vote's going.
The thing for me is part of God of War was tainted for me a little bit because I was a permanent like God of War fan. I enjoyed the old games, and like the initial run of God of War was fantastic. Some of the late game content was really annoying to me.
Yeah.
Like none of it was important. Yeah, like the stuff that bothered me is stuff you didn't have to do, and I didn't do it. That's why I don't have a platinum trophy for God of War. It's like, oh no, these Valkyrie fights are stupid.
So who do you think's gonna win this one?
And who do I think would actually win this?
Yeah.
It's a toss-up between the two we mentioned, but I have a feeling. Looking at the history of the Game Awards and some of these other categories, there's going to be some weird politics as to, all right, we're going to throw our votes this way for this. Because like last year, Horizon Zero Dawn was one of the best games to exist. and it didn't win a single fucking thing it was nominated for.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I have a feeling Game of the Year is most likely going to be Red Dead, but I have a strong feeling, like, if Red Dead picks it up in a bunch of other categories, it's going to be God of War.
I think it's going to be God of War for Game of the Year. Just because, like, I posted in the Discord, I'm not the only one who doesn't like Red Dead. There's other people who just can't get into it. But I think God of War was universally loved.
Well, God of War is a direct authored experience, point A to point B.
Yes.
It has some points where I think it kind of overstays its welcome. And like I said, some of the extended content I didn't find enjoyable, but if you play that game the way it's intended to be played, just point A to point B, get through that experience, it's fan-fucking-tastic. And with, like, attention spans being what they are these days for most people, I have a feeling, like, it had the edge as far as, like, the average consumer to get into.
Yeah.
To like that more.
Absolutely. But, yeah, I think God of War will win it. The next category is Best Ongoing Game. It is Destiny 2 Forsaken, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Overwatch, or Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. You know what I'm voting for.
I know what you're voting for. But I know what I'm voting for, and the thing I'm voting, there's no way it's not going to win.
There's no way No Man's Sky is not going to win this one. Oh, there's no fucking way Fortnite's not going to win this.
Yeah, because, like...
And it's deserved. I want to make that clear for all the hate I give Fortnite. It is fucking deserved. Because I sit here...
technical achievements of that game evolving. And like I said, the day they slapped their dick out of the Cube event, and like I said before, like, all the servers... globally at the exact same time, they flipped the fucking map mid-game.
Right.
It's like, how does anybody compete with that? Now, granted, Destiny 2 took a mediocre game and brought it back to being what the core audience wants. But it alienated a lot of people.
Right.
No Man's Sky is doing crazy things. They just added fucking Subnautica.
I gotta play that, man. I'm almost scared to play it because I know I'm gonna enjoy it, and you're not gonna hear from me for weeks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Overwatch.
Scared. I've owned it, and I've barely played it.
Overwatch has just been staying fairly consistent to what Overwatch does, and that's also the same thing for Siege. Now, Siege has the strong negative, like, community response to the announcement of, like, the changes for China.
Yeah.
And that's gonna really, like, that just shot this game in the dick as far as that winning this category.
I am glad
there's no way Fortnite doesn't win this one, though.
They didn't deserve the nominee, though, because both these games have done very well, continuing to support their community. Up until the last thing. But, yeah, Fortnite, because, like, I made a segment on this show so you could talk about Fortnite more than I could talk about Destiny. Because Fortnite there's always something going on. Because it was like, alright, what's in the news for Destiny? Like, oh, there's always something fucking important, so I guess we'll just move that to the beginning of the show. Because it seems like there's always something going on. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
The next one is Best Game Direction. It's awarded to a game studio for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. That, to me, is hands down God of War.
So, the thing here is, and I'll give you my feelings on someone who's played all of these games.
Okay.
So, A Way Out is well directed from a film standpoint, but the problem is the story's kind of cheesy and dumb, and it's very predictable for what that experience is going to be. I love the initiative that those guys, Hazelight, did with the... You can just invite your friend to a game. You just tell your friend, hey, download the demo of this game, and if I invite you to my game copy that I own, we can play this game together. Because that game is only two-player. Like, you can't play it alone unless you're a psychotic person holding two controllers and trying to do reactions. Now that's the thing. There is like the story's dumb and
But it's an experience. Yeah, it's a cinematic experience. And
but
Detroit,
it doesn't stand out.
Detroit's a David Cage game.
It's a very the thing here is the hit is depending on your decisions, some of the stories are way better than others and more well executed, but the insanity here is, as far as the game direction design goes, is like the sheer like fucking spider web of how drastically different those decisions can be. Like they took their Chronic Green formula and like just took it to the next level. Like for personal choice and that mattering, like there's been almost no game that can compete with like the sheer density and variety that does. But the thing is, it's that game kind of upset a bunch of SJWs. And it has a lot of dumb, like heavy-handed, commentary that stands out very poorly. So the problem is like the actual content of the story and not necessarily the direction is probably going to hold that back for a lot of people, regardless of like how well done the structure and framework of the design and direction of that content is. This is kind of a rigged game for God of War because the title and not necessarily the description is probably going to inform a lot of people, because the description mentions direction and design. Yeah. So yeah, pure direction. God of War is pretty much that single take from start to finish. Yeah. And there are a lot of design choices I wasn't the biggest fan of. In certain aspects, weird little gripes here and there. Like that game is fan-fucking-tastic. Don't get me wrong. Like every game, regardless of how much I love it, there's always something slightly off that you wish were, vaguely different.
And Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is great. The problem is it has this weird issue for some people. Like the swinging in that game is like hyper casual, but it's really fucking fun. It's great to just kind of zone out and swing around, even though it's like requires no actual skill, which is like my gripe with it. Even though like I thought it's well made, like it's super focused and designed for momentum and not necessarily like experimentation. That was like the beauty of that awful Spider-Man 2 game on the PS2. Right. It's like the swinging is the only good part of that game. But,
as far as direction and design.
So one of the things I think would hold this game back is I think the direction design is fantastic. The story, the Spider-Man story they tell, the way the cutscenes work, the mocap, facial animations, all that's fantastic. Problem is it has these weird things of you'll finish the story mission. It's like, well, I guess I'll just swing around for a bit and do some stuff until someone calls me back. So like it kind of has these good decisions as far as like what I would feel that world offers to kind of give these breaks where you have to go do some other shit to queue up the next story mission. That's not like, you gotta go do a bunch of unimportant stuff to get to the next story part, and that that flow of the game direction gets broken up. So the people that want to just keep moving on kind of had like a brief like 15-minute period where they had to just swing around for a bit until it queued up another phone call in game or another story beat, and you went and did the next mission. Right. But like I said, it like the sheer cinematic and storytelling parts stand out like superbly. Like the sheer performance of a lot of the people, the actors there, that's all fantastic. But it doesn't really directly compare, as it doesn't stand out compared to God of War, and they're very similar kind of presentation, so to speak. So God of War just kind of is just so hands above it. It doesn't really stand a chance, in my opinion. Yeah. Regardless of how fucking fantastic Spider-Man was.
And then Red Dead. Like everything's been said for Red Dead.
So yeah, with Red Dead though, in this particular category is like the cutscenes, the the design in the world of giving you the tools to tell your own story to yourself,
Right.
to be your own Arthur Morgan, is absolutely fantastic. The actual like cutscenes and direction of the moments beat to beat are fucking superb, and I'd argue some of them are a lot more stand out than most of the beats. Most of the beat to beats in Red Dead, I think, stand out personally to me way more than God of War. But the problem is God of War is such a focused, like honed experience to get you into that feel. Like I said, the fact that it sticks pretty, heavy duty to where once you're out and about, you're pretty much always in that same perspective over Kratos' shoulder.
Yeah.
And fully immersed in that world. Like, again, I would argue personally for me, I think Red Dead overall, just the quantity of its quality outweighs it, but
okay,
the sheer laser focus and editing of the experience for God of War would definitely win this category.
What's your prediction? Is that your prediction then? Is God of War?
That would be my personal vote, and prediction would be God of War. Even though, like, realistically, I kind of choose Red Dead in my heart. I just know, like, for this category, God of War is standout.
And then best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game: Detroit, Become Human, God of War, Life is Strange 2, Episode 1, Spider-Man, and Red Dead 2 again. And as far as narrative goes, I like God of War because there's, like, even when they're in the boat and he's telling stories and stuff, but even that, like, all the stuff you've been telling me and all the stuff that I have experienced in Red Dead 2 with all the little background shit, it's probably Red Dead 2.
Yeah, so for me, that's where, like, the sheer quality of not only the performances, but the writing of all these non-essential things in Red Dead are just so fucking fantastic. Now, granted, like I've mentioned before, there's some editing that, like, if they made a director's cut of this game, like, this would be an 11 out of 10. Like,
yeah.
Oddly, I came across the idea talking to somebody, like, the majority of the gripes I've come across that aren't, like, the shooting controls in Red Dead are the exact same gripes people had with The Witcher 3 when The Witcher 3 came out.
Right.
It's just The Witcher 3 patched out a lot of that stuff fairly quickly within the first 2 or 3 months. So by the time the majority of people that played Witcher 3 got around to it, they didn't have that, slightly tainted experience.
Well, I made the sensitivity better and stuff like that, like you mentioned, and it does play better.
But yeah, like the character body rotation for short interactions, like the way Arthur Morgan turns and like takes a step, that was the same issue that was in launch Witcher 3. Witcher 3 also had, like, small text. Now, Red Dead doesn't have that issue, but like I said, a lot of the quality of life stuff of complaints of like yeah, we get it, this is a game, don't make it so tedious in some of these parts. A lot of that stuff was patched in with free updates for Witcher 3.
But as far as narrative goes, I think Red Dead is absolutely the winner here.
Yeah.
I even when I was playing a little bit today, I remember John and what's his wife's name?
Abigail
got into a fight about something that John was an asshole about, and I came back to camp and she was screaming at him, calling him pathetic about what had happened earlier. I was just kind of laughing about it, like, fucking really, guys? Like,
yeah, like the insanity of, like, the quality of the narrative and writing in Red Dead is, like, how much of it you can miss.
Yeah.
And, like, it doesn't really matter to the primary narrative, but it so engages your experience. Yes, like, don't get me wrong, when you're in the boat and, the guy is telling you the story, Mimir, the head.
Yeah.
When he's telling you a story, like, pretty much everybody would just stop. Like, if they got too close, they'd stop and listen for Mimir's story before they parked the boat and went on with their thing. And again, God of War is such a direct, laser-focused experience about the story of, Kratos realizing you know, like, hey, my son can be better.
Right.
And we've got to get these ashes for the mom to where she wanted them. Like, this is the one request my wife had. I need to get this done. But the thing is, as far as like, I feel some of the users might vote God of War because it's much more concise.
Absolutely.
But I cannot in good conscience vote for anything but Red Dead in this category.
I also feel like Detroit might get it, just because.
Well, the problem is like all the choices are like insanely well crafted. It's just some of the major beats are dumb.
Yeah. But it might get it.
Yeah,
I think
like this is the only category I see it winning potentially, other than best performance for the guy Connor.
Detroit is a dark horse in this one, though, for sure. Let's see, best art direction, outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of the Obra Dinn. Art direction, design, and animation. Animation, for me, Red Dead instantly is disqualified, because there's a lot of shit in Red Dead that annoys me. Like, you were just talking about the turning radius and stuff.
Well, the problem is, they animated everything.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That, from a standpoint of a user, is hit or miss for a lot of people.
But there are things, I have a problem with that game, are the same problems I have with, like, Grand Theft Auto. Some of the dumb shit your character does, animation-wise and stuff. But, like, as far as, you know, like we talked about before, like, the looting and all that, that's amazing. But it's still, like, there's some glaring things for me that annoy me. I would kind of give it a God of War.
I mean, honestly, in this category, from like just my personal taste, like I feel way more strongly about probably Octopath and Obra Dinn than I do the other games in this category. I
am also thinking Octopath. Just because, like, it's sure, if you look at it, it's like, oh, it looks like an NES game. Or, no, Super NES? I think it'd be more Super NES,
it looks like a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah. Like, if you just glance at it, oh, it's a Super Nintendo game. But it's really, like, way more than that. It's really fucking amazing art and everything in that. So I'm going to give mine to Octopath. I think Octopath will win this as well. I feel sorry for Obra Dinn. I don't know if it's going to win anything. I don't know why it's in here. But
well, it's a really crazy, cool, like, mystery game made by the guy who made Papers, Please.
Right.
And it's such a standout style of the way it looks, looking like old school, like, Mac PC games before they had full CRT TVs. But, yeah, I mean, I have a feeling Octopath,
I hope so,
personally, is what I'd vote for, because just that aesthetic is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Even though in practice, playing the game through long periods of time, like, it has its rough spots. Just, like, visually looking at that thing stands out so strongly.
And best score / music presented by Spotify. Outstanding music, inclusion of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. I don't know.
Yeah, so in this category, personally for me, having listened to pretty much all of this, like, the God of War stuff is fantastic. I personally kind of enjoy, like, the variety and, like, sheer peak moments of using the music. The design of using it for Red Dead a little bit more than the God of War stuff. Celeste, I have not played Celeste. I have listened to the soundtrack outside of Celeste, and I personally didn't enjoy it. But it's one of those things where, like, the types of tracks that are made are so contextual, and they all fit a certain mood, where I have a feeling that knowing the context of the things you're doing in that level would drastically improve my experience. And, like, I almost guarantee, like, I would love the Celeste soundtrack if I played the game. but just standalone, they're just like so atmospheric. I don't personally feel they stand out like as just a completely devoid product. Spider-Man has like some insanely strong musical pieces, but it kind of reuses the same ones for effect and doesn't use them that often. Like when it stands out, it stands out, but it's not like an overall experience.
I think the only one here that really is deserving of it is Octopath. At least that I've experienced.
Yeah, for like my personal experience of like hearing the full soundtrack, this is standalone pieces. Octopath and Ni no Kuni.
Right, Ni no Kuni I have no idea about. Celeste, I've heard the music and like it. God of War has epic music. Spider-Man, I don't know, but I'm sure it has good music. Octopath, I love the music. And Red Dead, I can't really think of music other than the fucking bar, the guy playing the piano in the bar.
Yeah, like I said, like it creeps in, like much like Breath of the Wild, like the compositions are fantastic. It just creeps in for effect at the times you least think about it.
Yeah.
And it just accentuates those moments. But yeah, like honestly, I have a feeling God of War might win this, but I would vote Octopath with an honorable mention for Ni no Kuni.
See, best audio design presented by Dolby, recognizing the best in in-game audio and sound design. So, Black Ops 4, Forza Horizon 4, God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead 2.
I mean, this is one of those things where I honestly can't see Red Dead not win this.
Yeah.
Because the sheer detail.
Why is Forza not up here? Best, licensed soundtrack. I fucking love Forza's soundtrack.
Yeah, but I guess not enough of the judges felt that way when they submitted their list.
Fuck the judges.
Because, like, with talking about soundtrack, like, I was shocked and hurt that Messenger wasn't on here.
Oh, right.
Which reminds me of, like, the Messenger soundtrack. Like, the artist that did all the music was this artist called Rainbow Dragon Eyes. Which I had the heartbreaking realization of, like, looking into their deeper catalog of their work and not liking any of their other stuff.
Oh shit! I hate when that happens.
Oh my god, that sucked. Like I was so heartbroken listening to that stuff while I was at work. But as far as sound design, like the Call of Duty like mix is great. Like the sounds themselves are great, but like the actual like use of audio and playing that game for any of the modes that aren't zombies, it's kind of borked in a lot of areas. It's especially can be bad in Black Ops or Blackout.
To me, it's like everything, like, Forza's sound is good in God of War and Spider-Man. Forza, like, I gave my vote to Red Dead just because of all the ambient noise and the conversations and all that cool stuff going on. I kind of wish I would have given it to Forza just because of all the amazing sound effects and the way the car sounds so amazing, but I already voted. I think Red Dead has to win this one. I would say it has to be Red Dead. Best performance: Brian Deckard as Connor, Detroit Become Human. Christopher Judge as Kratos, God of War. Teal'c?
Yeah, so Kratos has always been a black guy.
I did not know that.
I think Tony Roberts might be the name of the guy who did all the other versions of Kratos.
I didn't know it was Teal'c. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Melisanthi Mahout as Cassandra, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan, Red Dead Redemption 2. And Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker, Marvel Spider-Man.
This is the hardest category here.
Like, nope. Kratos, Christopher Judge. It's so good. I fucking love Christopher Judge as Kratos.
Yeah, but that's the problem though of having played every game in this list except for Assassin's Creed Odyssey is like like the sheer like quality of like embodying Peter Parker by Yuri Lowenthal is insane. But Brian Deckard, he's probably the only character anybody really liked out of Detroit Become Human.
Right.
and like his performance of like transitioning from being this kind of like soulless robot that's just there for work, and him, you know, following the name of the game, him becoming more human, and you see him kind of transition into an adult from being a toddler, basically, through the story of that game, and like that, his relationship with Mr. Krabs.
Okay.
The detective he works for is what's his name? The guy Clancy Brown, the guy who does Mr. Krabs.
Oh.
From SpongeBob. Like, it's him, his likeness and everything.
The reason that Kratos gets my vote is for one word. Boy.
So the problem is, here's the point of contention, is Roger Clark says boy a lot too.
Yeah, it's not as good.
Like, that's my boy. But like,
I love all these guys, but Kratos to me it was just so good.
I have cried a few times due to Roger Clark and Arthur Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, he's fantastic, and Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker's really good.
Yeah, like the sheer range of what Roger Clark has to do,
but now,
and the fact that it's all consistent as that character. But again, like, I mean,
so what's our prediction? Like, who's gonna win this?
My prediction is probably Christopher Judge.
Yeah,
and like I said, they're all fan-fucking-tastic. Like, this category hurts so much.
I think this year is hard to vote.
Yeah, like, people thought last year was crazy, and then this year happened.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna go. I can't really pick. I'm gonna go with, like, my prediction is probably gonna be Christopher Judge.
Okay. Games for Impact for thought-provoking game with profound pro-social meaning or message. That's a mouthful. 11/11 Memories Retold. I actually have no idea what that is. Like a World War I game, maybe. Celeste, Florence, Life is Strange 2, and The Missing, J.J. McField and the Island of Memories. This is easy for me. It's Florence.
Oh, really? Like,
yeah.
This is the one category I almost guarantee Celeste would win.
Okay, I don't. Why does Celeste fit in here?
Well, because the entirety of that game, is this character dealing with her own problems by climbing a mountain.
Okay.
And every single level is kind of themed to another personal problem and her overcoming obstacles in her life.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, so it may win, but Florence.
Yeah, Florence is fantastic.
Florence.
But the issue is like, it's like a mobile phone game. It's done in like 40 minutes. The Missing is the game on this list I want to play the most outside of Celeste, because I want to say that's a game made by Swery, and it's like this weird game of like the one character, like their limbs fall off, and it's like a puzzle game.
Oh God!
Like, it's bizarre. Like Suehiro-san, the guy goes by the name Swery, like makes nothing but weird games.
Okay.
And I've become a well established proponent of weird ass games.
So our prediction is Celeste.
My personal prediction would be Celeste, but Florence is the other primary contender there.
The best independent game, Celeste. I could win this. Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of the Obra Dinn, or The Messenger. There you go, The Messenger.
Yeah, so in this category, the three that stand out that are at risk of winning are going to be Celeste, Dead Cells, and Into the Breach.
Yeah,
but I have a feeling Celeste is going to win this one.
Yeah, but I got to give my support to Dead Cells, because even today I played a bunch of it. I love that game. I need to get Celeste. As much as I don't like platformers, I've heard that people that don't like platformers love Celeste. So I need to try that. Into the Breach I need to play because I love strategy games. I played a little bit of it and dug it. Messenger does not look like my jam. And I still don't know anything about Obra Dinn. But I think Celeste might win this one.
I have a feeling Celeste is a strong favorite.
Celeste or
but
Dead Cells?
the dorks in the world, and rightfully so, potentially could vote for Into the Breach because it's such a it is such the pinnacle of what a small form strategy game can be. Like the sheer like brilliance of the design of each one of those little areas. Because I've played a bunch of it, and it's fucking devastatingly hard and beautiful.
And we have best mobile game, the best game playable on a dedicated mobile device, Donut County, Florence, Fortnite, PUBG Mobile, Reigns, Game of Thrones.
I mean, I don't see how Fortnite doesn't win this one.
Fucking Fortnite everywhere.
Well,
I'm still voting for Florence.
Like, Florence is amazing. I'd personally probably vote Donut County because I love that game so much.
You played that on PlayStation though, didn't you?
Yeah, and it's cheaper on mobile. Like, it was like $6 on mobile, and it's like $15 on PlayStation.
It's not on Android apparently.
Yeah, that's the reason why I didn't. That's the reason why I did not play it on mobile. But the thing is like Fortnite is just an uncompromised.
And PUBG
experience.
Mobile is actually really fucking good.
PUBG Mobile is potentially like a better supported version of PUBG than the actual PUBG.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Fortnite wins this.
Like the fact that you can start up that game, it works well. People can play that game very well on their phone.
Yeah,
play with anybody on any platform. Like,
dude, I don't play mobile games. If I go play PUBG and occasionally I do want to play it, I just play it on my phone. But I think Fortnite wins this, but I think Florence might win. Florence has a sliver of a chance to win.
Yeah, Florence has a standout potential there because like Reigns is cool.
Yeah, but I don't like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it doesn't stand a chance against these other ones.
Yeah. Best VR AR game. Did you play any of these?
I have checked out Astrobot and a little bit of Tetris Effect and Moss.
Okay.
When I played Tetris Effect in VR, I realized, oh yeah, I forgot I kind of never have liked Tetris.
I like it okay.
But none of the Tetris style games have I ever liked. And the problem is like, I almost bought this game just to support Mizuguchi because he's made like some very important games in my life.
Yeah.
You know, let alone Rez. Like I should be throwing money at that man for Rez alone.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Beat Saber just because that's the one I've had the most fun watching people play.
Now, honestly, as far as like the sheer quality of game, this is probably realistically between Moss and Astrobot.
Okay.
And I have a feeling Astrobot would win this.
I haven't seen anything from Astrobot.
Astrobot is a straight up, like, imagine like a really good Mario game, but in VR that's not Mario.
I'll have to check that out. So, who do you think wins this one, Astrobot?
Yeah, like I said, personally for me, like the response from people that check out either Moss or Astrobot is so like severely, you know, powerful. But I think Astrobot is the better game.
And best action game: Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Dead Cells, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Far Cry 5, or Mega Man 11.
I'd personally say this is a toss-up between Dead Cells and Call of Duty, and I'm leaning towards Dead Cells because Dead Cells had such a positive fan reaction.
You know what I'm voting for?
Far Cry 5?
No, I'm voting for Dead Cells.
Yeah, Dead Cells. Yeah, like I need to play Dead Cells because they're working on a massive patch that kind of changes the entire structure of that game. It's in like early access on PC right now, and it's considerable changes. And then I would have never had the Dead Cells experience.
Yeah,
Now I need to get around to it.
I feel like you might know how I feel about Destiny 2. But man, Dead Cells and but Destiny's gameplay I love. Dead Cells is just so fucking good, and I haven't got that far either. and I'm in love with that game. The gameplay is just so good. And Far Cry 5, like, yeah, man, it's Far Cry. It's fucking fun. It's fantastic gameplay, it's fantastic shooting, but didn't do anything special.
Yeah, it's more the same. It just escalated on the co-op parts and executed on that. The rest of the game suffered. Like, story's dumb. The direction of the story is dumb.
Yeah. I'm surprised Far Cry 5's on this list anywhere. So best action adventure game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead 2, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I feel like you think Shadow of the Tomb Raider is going to win this. Because we all know how much you love Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Well, I think we also know how few people touch that fucking game. Like, by sales numbers alone, and the fact that it was already on sale for like $40 2 weeks after it came out on Steam, and people complained and review bombed it.
As far as action and adventure, God of War. No?
Well, I mean, looking at the description of that category, combat with traversal and puzzle solving, that's between Assassin's Creed Odyssey and God of War.
Yeah.
In my mind, if I'm looking at that description, so it's definitely God of War.
Yeah. God of War is an absolute adventure. The rest of these, except for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, deserve it too. But God of War is just, it's special. Best role-playing game, not going to be a good one for me. Dragon Quest XI, Monster Hunter World, Ni no Kuni, Octopath, or Pillars of Eternity 2. I gotta vote for Octopath.
I mean, personally, I have a strong feeling, like, without playing it and having sampled the other ones, like, I honestly feel like I would vote for and expect Pillars of Eternity 2 to win.
Maybe. It might. I really need
just
to play
because,
the first
like,
one.
all of these other games are just, like, kind of okay as far as, like, the overall experience.
Yeah.
Pillars of Eternity 2 is the only one that really lets you role play.
That's right. That's true.
And it's deep and insanely detailed with the character interactions.
Yeah.
It's not as strong as, say, you know, what am I thinking about? Divinity Original Sin 2, but it's as close as they could get without a little bit extra money and time.
Yeah.
And the little bit I've looked into Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire and the people I know that have played it, like, it's fan-fucking-tastic. And I wish I had the patience to try it out.
And best fighting game, BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Soul Calibur 6, or Street Fighter 5.
This is Fighter's game to lose. Because I've tried all these other ones. Cross Tag Battle is okay, but I think the appeal, like, so Fighter Z and Cross Tag Battle are very, very similar.
Yeah, but Fighter Z has a fucking awful lobby.
Yeah, but, like, the experience of the actual, like, all the Arc System Works games are kind of trash as far as the lobby goes. So you're just getting a better overall production value and experience of, like, the lore and the characters and the variety out of Dragon Ball Fighters. Soul Calibur 6, the reversal edge stuff bothers me. It bothers a lot of people. Street Fighter 5 is still just more Street Fighter 5. Like, it's fantastic.
That's why I'm giving it to Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter, to me, is the best game in this, hands down. And I love BlazBlue. I actually really love Cross Tag Battle. But yeah, Street Fighter 5 is just incredible.
Yeah, like I said, personally, knowing, like, the experience of, like, what a goddamn phenomenon Fighters was.
Yeah.
Like, I doubt anything beats it. Even though, personally, for me, mechanically, I'm more inclined to like Soul Calibur and Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Like, my personal vote would be Street Fighter, but realistically, there's no way Fighters loses that.
Okay. Best family game, Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, Starlink, and Mario Party.
The only two contenders here, Labo and Mario Party. So that's Mario Party, no doubt.
I'm gonna get into Labo just because it's so unique.
Yeah, like it's such an actual family experience.
Yeah. So I hope Labo wins that one. Best strategy game: Banner Saga 3, BattleTech, Frostpunk, Into the Breach, Valkyria Chronicles 4. Frostpunk is getting my vote here. I fucking love
Banner Saga. I've played Into the Breach. I've played Valkyria Chronicles 4 a little bit. Like, I don't see how Into the Breach loses this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Frostpunk, I love its style and aesthetic, but like those deep like systems management stuff, like that shit gets on my nerves.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, like the sheer presentation and simplicity and the sheer rewarding nature of having a successful run on Into the Breach. Like,
yeah.
The Banner Saga 3 is a cool culmination to a trilogy of great, fantastic turn-based games. It's just...
I need to get the Banner Saga. I want to play Banner Saga like something fierce.
Yeah. The Into the Breach is just so head and shoulders above of like nailing its concept perfectly to the point to where it's like shameful. Like that Subset Games has made two fucking insanely well-crafted games back to back between FTL and Into the Breach. Like I don't see how Into the Breach doesn't win this.
Best sports/racing game: FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, and Pro Evolution Soccer 2019.
This is Forza.
Yep.
This is only Forza.
Fuck yes.
Like as someone who didn't really playing a Forza, like it's just such an above head and shoulders experience. Even production quality, design.
Yeah. Even compared to Mario.
Mario Tennis Aces is cool, but it is such a specific experience and oddly heavily skill-based game where like it detracts from itself.
So is Forza, but you can set it to where even idiots like us can play it well.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Best multiplayer game: Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, and Sea of Thieves. I'm voting for Destiny, but Fortnite's winning this.
The two contenders I feel in this, Fortnite wins this, hands down. The only possible contender, maybe from just personal feedback experience and seeing reactions, is maybe Monster Hunter.
Yeah?
But that game is so early in the year, I have a feeling a lot of people forgot about it. And Fortnite has stayed ever present.
Yeah. Best student game: Combat. I think I've played any of these. Created at a high school or college level. Combat 2018 Quasar, Jera, Lift, RE Charge. I have no idea.
Yeah, we have no experience with any of that.
I can't vote for any of these. Best debut indie game: Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger. Oh, Yoku's Island Express.
I know, like that. This mix of games right here.
The mix of games, all right.
Is so hard, man. This one hurts. So I love every single one of these games.
Yeah, it's an easy one for me. The Florence.
Yeah, like the Messenger. Like if the Messenger didn't drag out towards the very end in the open world segments, this would be a no contest.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, Donut County is such an amazing experience. I have a feeling Moss or Florence wins this one.
Yeah.
And I guess my vote would have to go with Florence. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about this category. This is kill your babies right here. Like I love all of these.
Best esports game: CS:GO, Dota 2, Fortnite, League, Overwatch. I'm gonna vote for Overwatch. Just because they've been doing really well with their Overwatch League.
Yeah, the Overwatch League has been fantastic. I have a feeling this is like Fortnite is super popular. Like as a giant Fortnite fan, the last thing I care to watch is their esports.
Yeah.
Their current like Epic Games run like competitive structure needs work.
So I've been paying a little bit of attention to all this stuff. So to me, CSGO is still there, still strong. Dota 2 has their giant tournament every year. That's a contender. Fortnite, yeah, I don't really hear a lot about esport Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean, it gets hundreds of thousands of views whenever they do an event.
But League just had their Worlds tournament, and it kind of... People were upset because all they got announced was a K-pop thing.
And that K-pop thing was cool, but
yeah,
just still more League. Overwatch is actively, changing the game.
Overwatch League is killing it right now. Yeah. I've actually watched a bunch of it. I enjoy it. So yeah, I think Overwatch wins this, and my vote is for Overwatch.
Oh, hey, speaking of esports, just a quick aside, to bash like the poor design directions around Realm Royale a little bit.
Okay.
They just had a more recent $25,000 tournament, and on two giant TVs up in the event center, they had the spectating fucking. They had like the presentation that the viewers were watching.
By the players?
Players actively.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And you know, all the players looked up, saw it, and went, "All right."
Yeah, it's just like, what a fucking oof.
Man, okay. Best esports player presented by Omen by HP. I'm probably not going to be able to vote on this one. Dominique Sonic Fox McLean, Hajime Tokido Taraguchi, Jin Uzi Zihao, Alexander Kostyliev, Kostyliev, Song Hyun Jojo Nak Bang. I don't know who any of these people are.
So I know most of these. Sonic Fox is a well-known fighter. He competes in both Dragon Ball FighterZ and Smash. He's probably the one that would win this. As far as popularity goes, like any of the other players would probably win. Like Simple has become a meme. He's a pro CS:GO player.
Okay.
He's just a really kind of like goofy Polish guy. I want to say the other two that aren't Jojo Knack are League players.
Probably.
Because I know Jojo Knack is a Overwatch player.
Okay, I'll vote for him then.
But yeah, I have a feeling Sonic Fox wins this, just because like he's a very outspoken personality. He's an openly gay furry.
All right.
Who wears like his blue Sonic outfit. He's got a whole persona of who he is. Like he's an amazing player, and he stands out as an individual. Most of these other guys are just kind of, insanely talented players. Other than Simple, like I said, he became a meme in the CS:GO community. But yeah, I have a feeling Sonic Fox wins that.
Best esports team: Australis, Cloud9, Fnatic, London Spitfire, or OG. I've always kind of been fans of Cloud9, so I'll give it to them.
Yeah, I'm not super, committed to any of these.
Right. Let's see, best esports coach? Jeez. I don't know any of these people either.
Yeah.
Best esports events? Oh, God.
I mean, my personal vote here is the Evo, but I have a feeling the International would probably win this.
The International is impressive as fuck.
Yeah, the International is always insane.
I'm going to give it to Overwatch League, though, because that was also pretty impressive, and I just want them to win stuff.
Like, the presentation at the League World Championship was crazy, with the whole, like, augmented reality pop star thing. but the event itself was hit or miss.
And best esports host, this probably won't be able to speak to.
Golden Boy is probably the one most people know. He's pretty cool. He's a cool dude. My vote would be Golden Boy just because he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna vote on this one because I don't know him. Best esports moment, yeah. I don't know this either. Content creator of the year, okay.
I just want to mention in that esports moment, I have a feeling the Sonic Fox side switch you would love because it's such a fucking like heel move of like playing the rules to do something dirty and then winning. So
okay.
like Sonic Fox asked for a coin flip for a side switch after he lost like the first round, and then he won the coin flip, switched, and won the round. Like he got so in the other guy's head with that coin flip and pissed him off. Like it's something pretty much nobody has ever done is like go by the rule book and ask for the coin flip, and he forced it and won the coin flip. And yeah, like it was such a heel move. It's fantastic.
And content creator of the year, Dr. Lupo, Myth, Ninja, Pokimane, okay, I thought I was gonna be able to vote on this one. I don't know. I guess Ninja's the only one I watched.
I feel that Ninja wins this, but the trick is with any of these, it's like the content creator of the year would really be their editors, because all 5 of these people have a paid editor that actually makes their content. It's not just their streams.
Oh, maybe we'll be on there one day.
I have a strong feeling like if Ninja doesn't win, Iman Pokimane wins this.
Okay.
Because like she's been a very standout presence on the Twitch community to the point where I opened up my Amazon app. She's in a goddamn commercial.
And Ninja and Dr. Lupo are the only ones I've heard of.
Yeah, well, Myth is a 18, 19-year-old kid who's on the TSM team. Who's like all 4 out of 5 of these blew up because of Fortnite.
Okay.
And I don't know Willie Rex too much, but I think he also blew up on Fortnite.
Right, well, that's everything, and that's pretty much our show. Is there anything else you want to say about the game awards?
Jeff Keighley has been really hyping this one. There's going to be guaranteed a lot of cool things showed off.
Yeah.
It's like he's never really flexed this hard and had crazy events. If he's hyping this one up the way he has been talking about it, I have a feeling he's going to deliver, because he's undersold every other time and blown it out of the water, even though like the awards themselves are kind of secondary to my interest in the announcement.
Right. Yeah, same here. When does it air?
December 8th or December 6th. It's the night before Smash, so I think it's December 6th.
It's the night before Smash.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to load the page now. It's loading. Things are coming up on the page. Come on, for fuck's sake. Yeah, December 6th.
Yeah, because I know Smash is December 7th.
Okay. So it's a Thursday? That's weird. Alright, well, that's our show.
December 7th?
What?
Pearl Harbor.
Yep, that's our show. And thank you for listening, guys. I don't know why we need that fucking fact.
Well, again, the Japanese are about to drop a bomb on America on December 7th. He's so disappointed.
Oh my god. Thank you for listening, guys, or not listening anymore ever again because of that. I would understand. If you like this for some reason, give us a god damn it, I can't even think now. Leave us a comment, give us a review on iTunes, or I don't know if Google has reviews or not.
Yeah, they do. The Google Podcast has a review program.
Leave us a review over there and tell us how terrible Troll is. if you like all this stuff, where can they find you, Trollbeard? Where can they yell at you on Twitter for that joke?
Sure thing. Most places is going to be Trollbeard with the underscore at the end. Unfortunately, that's the way the internet works. Shit gets taken, and I'm not important to get the name I really want.
Does that make me important?
Well, it just means you were creative enough and early enough.
Yeah, I ripped it off one of my favorite wrestlers. Creative enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can find me at BestintheRealm. Facebook is BestintheRealm Gaming. YouTube, BestintheRealm. Twitch.tv/BestintheRealm. All that good stuff. You can find all of this. Plus, we have a kind of different